This is the Big O Show. 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 This is.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Hey, it's Big O. Protect your home the way we do with Sloman's Home Security, folks. And if you want some great news, how about this? A free doorbell camera. That's right. The first 40 Big O listeners who dial 1-800-ALARM-ME will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman's Shield. And that's not all, folks. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners to call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Keep your family safe like we do here in the Alzigari family. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, aka the Big O, he covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Scotty Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. It is time to rock and roll. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I had a great weekend. I don't know about you guys. I relaxed. I huddled a little bit. I watched plenty of sports. Had a good time. Sean Stanley, sir, did you have a good weekend? Were you all right? Were you good? Were you good? Let's see. What do we got from Sean?
I kept myself busy. I did keep myself busy.
Okay. All right. Nothing wrong with that.
Got some shopping
Nothing
done.
Okay. All right. I haven't done any shopping whatsoever. I don't have to do a lot of shopping every year anyways. My wife does most of the shopping. I just got to do something for my wife and my daughter, and not really much. So I only have a couple of gifts I have to buy every year. So for me, it's not like I have this list of 20, 30, 40 people. That burden is carried by my wife. By the way, as you're seeing above and around us, Sloman's Home Security is a new sponsor of the program. So all of you listening locally, nationally, if you're looking to protect your home, all right, 1-800-ALARM-ME. So we welcome the great folks at Sloman's on board. And by the way, if you don't have home security, we do have the link on our webpage, on our Twitter page. You can use the direct link, but you can call 1-800-ALARM-ME. Make sure you mention Big O. By the way, the first 40 Big O listeners right now calling 1-800-ALARM-ME, you're going to get a limited time offer for a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman Shield. And by the way, Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're the first 40 Big O listeners, 1-800-ALARM-ME, you'll receive a free doorbell camera. So 1-800-ALARM-ME. We welcome Sloman's Home Security aboard, a proud new sponsor of our program. And this morning we got good news on another new sponsor that is joining us. And listen, I've been doing radio for 31 years now. And while this can't be called traditional radio, although what is traditional radio nowadays, right? It is all digital anyways, even if it has an antenna. But anyway, I've broadcasted from practically everywhere. Okay. Sean, I don't know if you've broadcasted from as many different places as I have in your career. But yeah, no, I don't think so either. But what I told you this morning, I know you've never broadcasted from a place like this, right? Neither have I. So it's exciting. It's going to be fun. We're going to add another insider, by the way, to the show that will be exclusively with our program. And we're going to be broadcasting somewhere where I never expected to be broadcasting from. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. So I don't want to ruin it. I want to talk, give it up. But, it's, and by the way, thank you all out there, sponsors that are reaching out to us, because I can't find a salesperson locally that has experience, but somehow or another, the good Lord above is blessing us that sponsors are calling us now to be a part of our program. So thank you all out there. That's very, very nice. And so lots of people have reached out, and so I wear many hats, not just this Dolphins hat, doing all of this stuff. So appreciate all of you out there as always, man, for supporting the hell out of us. Big O finished the fake spike game. Wow, incredible down. Third quarter, 24-6 with 2 minutes left. Wish I can take a time machine and live the Dan Marino years. They were fun. They were fun, my friend. They were fun. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, you still live in frustrations because they didn't do enough around Dan, which comes kind of full circle to Tua. It doesn't matter what quarterback you are, dude. You need support. You got to have support in order to succeed. Steve Chapman, of course, is chiming in number one. He says, good morning, Big O. Embrace yourself for the Jakeem Grant nonsense. It's coming. We made it through the bye week. Oh, yeah. I'm sure Jakeem Grant will be part of the conversation throughout the morning. Jamie Zorria is chiming in. This is funny. Like, really, like NorCal is calling me now. Like, NorCal knows I'm on live. Like, he's on all the time. He's on the chat board all the time in California. And somehow or another, he's calling me now. He knows I'm on the air. NorCal, what is wrong with you? And I showed it because the number doesn't come out. So that's why I just kind of put it there. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if there's any moment where he hangs up and goes, wait a minute, he can't answer the phone now. He's got to be on the air at this point in time doing the show. Oh, Jesus. You're too much. By the way, we're going to be joined by Ira Winderman in just a couple of minutes. He's already sitting in the batter's box ready to go. Omar Kelly will join us at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. So we'll get to talk to Omar. Heat, by the way, nice performance against the Bulls last night. The Avalanche, unfortunately, beat the Panthers. I mean, two exceptional teams. It is what it is. What are you going to do? And last night I went also to the Joe Bonamassa concert. It was my first concert at the new place at the Hard Rock, and it was I even got lost walking to it. So it was actually entertaining. So I got a bunch of things to talk about today on the program. Really in a good mood right now, especially with the phone call I got early this morning. So that was very, very cool. All right, let's do this. Let's take a very quick break. Let's get ready for Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
comes down on the text line, NorCal. Big O, sorry about my phone. Chat soon. Fins for life. It's like he knows. Like,
you can't make this up.
No, you can't. You can't. It's like he's calling me when he knows I'm on the air. Just too funny, man. It's too funny. Anyway, Ira, good morning, sir. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was crazy, Big O. With all this, COVID stuff going on with the heat and everything else. I almost feel like you and I one day are going to do like a Jerry Springer show, and I'm going to take a test on the air while I'm on with you, and then we'll go the whole audience and go positive, positive, positive. It's just crazy. And Eric Spoelstra, I give all the credit in the world. Look,
I saw your article.
Most coaches won't say anything. They don't want to rock the boat. Eric is opinionated, and on something like this, I think he has a really good case. And I want to make this point again. One, this is a serious, serious pandemic. Don't lose track of that. Number one. Number two, as Eric Spoelstra said, if this was the flu, which honestly is an annual serious pandemic as well, we go through every year, not to this degree, we wouldn't know. Think about this, among the most famous moments in the history of sports might be Michael Jordan's flu game, right? When he's hugging the ball, and he's in the locker room, and they're winning a championship. Well, under these testing procedures, if they tested for the flu, that game never would have happened. All these sports, the flu. How many games have you covered where you talked about someone was sick, but he gutted it out there when he went out there? Right. I understand this is highly infectious. I get it. I appreciate all that the people, the medical staffs, the epidemiologists are doing. But at some point, you're only getting these results because you're testing so often. So I think it's interesting. One, everyone on the Heat has been fully vaccinated and fully boosted. Two, in the group that they are in, mid-20s, maybe early 30s, they're least likely to contract anything very serious. I can't recall, maybe you can, of a highly serious NBA hospitalization case. We have seen it with older players, former players, Cedric Ceballos, players like that, but not current players. So you reach a point, even in society right now, where, I'll give you an example. You work out of a home studio. Even if you were to test positive, you could go to work. You would sit there in the same studio. You might isolate from your family, but you would do your job. It's an interesting point that Eric Spoelstra brought up. And you know what? I'm on pins and needles for this reason. I can't recall a single team that only had one positive test, and that was the extent of it. Once you get a positive test on your team, you're testing more often. Once you test more often, just almost the law of averages these days. Plus, we're here in Cleveland. I'm actually overlooking the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Baker Mayfield's house just directly across from me here. So I'm looking at all that, and you can just see in the Great Lakes area that the positivity rate has gone higher. So let me get this straight, NBA. You're sending the Heat to Cleveland. You're sending them to Detroit. You know the positivity rate is high. What are you expecting? And on the other hand, is it fair to people who are buying tickets to games like in Chicago, now that they're going back home, where they have 7, 8, 9 players not available? Is that the product that I signed up to buy?
Right. No, you're right about that. No, obviously. But again, money rules. So they got to get the games in. They got to get their TV contract money in. And that's
I'll give you one other thing. And I was told by this also from someone.
Question to ask you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And then one other thing, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I was talking to some of the NBA, the Christmas Day games. And the NBA is doing everything they can to protect their cash cow, as I guess everyone does also. So many times you see, after this event, we're going to shut down or something like that. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we know that December 25th is sort of the NBA's non-playoff Super Bowl. And it means everything to the league. I think the thought of the NBA is, hey, if we get through Christmas, we'll take a day off. We'll maybe park a team like the NHL has done with the Islanders and with the Senators. But it just seems this is all trending toward we want Christmas, and the NBA will not allow COVID to be the Grinch.
All right. So now the cynical one in me now also starts coming out here. So we're watching a lot of positives in the NFL, and we're watching a lot of positives right now in the NBA. I'm just thinking Antonio Brown now. I'm wondering how many guys are walking around with fake cards and they're actually contracting this thing for the first time and they're really not vaccinated. And I'm just wondering, what kind of a problem does the NBA or the NFL, or do they even have a problem when it comes to fake vaccination cards? Because I got to feel that Antonio Brown and the two other guys that were busted aren't the only three guys to do this in pro sports.
Well, the NBA is a very proactive league and things like this. It probably sides a little more toward a liberal line of thinking. It's just their
Yes.
constituency. I believe that just about every NBA vaccination has been team administered. I think the teams want that. I think they wanted to make
Okay.
sure their players were getting the right vaccination, vaccinated the right way, that it takes hold, that they were getting the reaction. So I think a little bit of a difference is the NFL has a huge offseason. So a lot of this was done. Think about the major vaccination period last year. It was February, March, April. It was away from NFL season. I think the NBA not only says, when they say they have a 97% vaccination rate, I think it's also 97% administered by the league. I'm going to be honest with you. If Kyrie Irving shows up to Brooklyn and said, hey, here's my vaccination card, I think the first question all of us will have is, did the Nets administer it? Was the NBA involved? Who was your witness? And I'm not saying that you can't trust people, that, I'm on public transportation all the time. I'm in the airport. I'm everywhere. People are showing their vaccination cards. As you know, in Florida, when you go, I went to the Broward public health sites. It's just chicken scrawl and ink. Anyone can write that. It's just a matter of decency. It's a matter of when you leave the bar and you say, I didn't drink, or I only had one beer. I mean, a lot of our society is based on sort of trust. It sucks when you get an Antonio Brown or someone like that who lies like that. But you know what? That's the same guy who grabs his keys, walks outside and said, I just had one, I'm fine. You can only control so much, and you're putting society at risk. That's the whole thing. I even had to talk. I don't mean to get too tangential here, and I apologize because I know I can be long-winded. But I even had to talk with Eric Spoelstra the other day. We were just talking in general about this. And I said, I remember a time my dad would tell me when he signed up and enlisted in World War II, that if you could help your fellow man, that was life. That was the most important thing you did.
Yes.
That here is my dad as an 18-year-old from Eastern New York, bypassing college, enlisting because he wanted to save humanity, basically.
Right.
And you're giving everyone, like, oh, I don't mean to demean what we do. I'm a writer. You're a radio sports host. We have good jobs. We don't save lives. We're not policemen. We're not firemen. But you have a chance now to save a life. If you get the jab, if you get your booster, there's a chance you might save maybe not an NBA player's life, but maybe someone who's 65 or 70 or immunocompromised. That's what I don't get. I just, and again, I'm glad we're not on mainstream radio so I could say it. It just seems like a whole bunch of assholery that's going on out there. And for John Stockton to say, well, I saw it on the internet. Well, I saw a lot of stuff on the internet, and I'm not ingesting that crap either.
Yeah, we're not selfless enough as a society. Unfortunately, that's just the reality that we live in. It's all about my brand. It's all about my interests. Doesn't matter what it is, man. And it just seems to be that way. And we don't fight for each other anymore. You know what I mean? And that's what your father was talking about. And that's what people used to do. They used to fight for each other, and we just don't do that anymore. Now it's every man for himself, or every woman for himself, or whatever it is, So yeah,
so
it's a separate. But that's the part that I started to see all these positives.
Right.
And I'm wondering, oh man, how many fake cards are involved in all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think not as much in the NBA. And I'm not so sure in the NFL, it's not a little bit from ownership, which tends to skew sort of.
Well, they're a little more loosey-goosey over there, yes. So
I'm not so sure it's a little bit of a wink. Okay, you have a card? You're fine. Come play for us. Help me make money. Yeah.
Right. Because the NFL was all hell bent loose on not giving in to anything, and they weren't willing to stop the machine for anything whatsoever.
Hell, they played with replacement players for years. You remember the replacement Dolphins, and that still counted as a season.
That's where we got Lifford Hobley from, by the way.
Yeah,
he came from the Scabs. Actually, he's one of the few that actually stuck from Shula's Scab team. No Morris. No Butler again tonight. They did not make the trip to take on the Cavs tonight, correct?
They did not. It's such a weird trip, Big O, in that we're in Cleveland right now, in Philly for a game on Wednesday night. But then they go to Orlando on Friday before going to Chicago, before going to Detroit on Sunday. So it's the rare trip they could drive players up in the middle of the trip. So Jimmy is going to miss tonight, is going to miss Wednesday in Philly. but there's a chance he could just take an Uber, I don't know, and wind up with the team in Orlando. I think it's going to be how this trip starts. I think if they can go 1-1 in these two, again, you and I have spoken 3 times a week, twice a week here on the Acura Pembroke Pines report. You're just treading water without Bam. You're treading water without Markeith. You wanted to stay around 500 in these games and then make your move. So I think they're going to sort of see how these first two go. Whether they have to put out the bat signal for Jimmy Butler or not, we'll see when they hit Orlando on Friday.
By the way, an incredibly impressive game. I'm sorry, on Saturday against Chicago. Before I get into that, by the way, I just want you to know NBC 10 in Philadelphia. I'm looking right here. Breaking: Philadelphia, since you're going there, will require proof of vaccination to eat indoors in restaurants or drink inside bars starting January 3rd. So you're in the clear right now.
You know what? But I was actually told by the Heat that starting December 17th, the league's rules will tighten also. So make sure you have your vaccination card. So I had Antonio Brown fill in all 3 lines for me. So I'm fine.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the win against
Chicago.
The Bulls the other night. I mean, that was a sweet performance by the boys, a complete performance, and it's kind of what we talked about the other day. I loved where Lowry he scored his points, but he didn't have to carry anything.
Right.
It was more about facilitating and creating for everybody else.
And I know a lot of people will say, hey, wait a minute, Ira and Big O, Chicago had 7 players out. You know what? You could make an argument that of the 5 best players on the court, which I would put going into that game with Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and Lonzo Ball, that Chicago arguably had 3 of the 5 best players on the court that night. So, yes, the teams are shorthanded, but I think Chicago had a little more star quality. Zach LaVine was outstanding and then went into COVID protocol the very next day, which kind of has you a little bit concerned playing 40 minutes against him. But yeah, again, we talked about, this is so much, about treading water, about just staying afloat. The schedule gets easier. Bam Adebayo is going to be back hopefully mid-January. Markieff Morris is at least trending that way. I think the Heat, if there almost was an over-under for the final 41 games, I would take the over no matter what. I think they're going to be that strong. They'll be together. Hopefully there's not a COVID incident. So you're just trying to tread water. So the win against the Bucks at home, huge. The win against Chicago at home on Saturday, meaningful. This trip, Eric Spoelstra will never tell us this. But if they go 2-2, I'm fine with that. As long as you get the game in Orlando, as long as you get the game in Detroit, who now are lacking Jeremy Grant, I'm fine with that also. So to me, when you ask me, we'll talk again in the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint on Wednesday. I'll talk to you again Friday on our Acura Pembroke Pines report. If he can get one of these 2 games, tonight against an emerging Cleveland team or Wednesday in Philadelphia, I think this trip will be off to a flying start.
Well, and here's the thing that I think what's happened here in the last couple games has kind of been, believe it or not, because I know some people are going to, what do you mean by this? But it is a confidence booster, because they were confident, obviously, when they're whole. When Bam's out there and Butler's out there and everybody, and you got your big guys, everybody, the younger guys always feel better because they got the big guys in front of them. So they're walking with, but then when you take out the big guys and all of a sudden you're put to the forefront, you're like, are we ready for this? It's like the Saturday Night Live thing that you and I grew up with, the not ready for primetime players at the back end of the, whole thing. So all of a sudden the not ready for primetime players have been now thrusted into there. And so it kind of got a little uneasy there for a moment. And they're wondering, okay, so what are we? Are we still a good team? And the last couple of games, I think they kind of looked at each other and said, you see, we can be a good team. So I think mentally, going into these 2 games, they're a much better team because they have found out more about themselves in the last couple games. Agree?
I always say this. If your bit players can contribute 2, 3, maybe 5 victories in a season, you're ahead of the game for your end of benchers. So let's go through this list now, Big O. Gabe Vincent has done that. Max Strus, 4th quarter against Milwaukee, has done that. Dwayne Dedmon with his double-double on Saturday has done that. And who would have thought? And KZ Okpala has done that. that you're talking about guys in a perfect world when you're starting Bam Adebayo and PJ Tucker and Duncan Robinson and Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, and your next three off the bench were supposed to be Hero, Dedmon, and Morris. You're talking about three other guys who arguably weren't even supposed to play, and they're helping you. And you know what? You and I, when we talk about the standings in April, and you're going, wow, Ira, they just finished 2 games ahead of Atlanta and 1 game ahead of Philly, and they're in good shape for the playoffs. Let's not forget what Gabe Vincent did. Let's not forget what Max Strus did. And let's not even forget these last 2 games, what Casey Okpala did. Sometimes it's that razor-thin margin, like we're seeing in the NFL playoffs, that can make a difference.
And I thought the statement by Lowry, I'm going to paraphrase it like we're playing with intentions or something like that. Or I love that line by him because when you watch what's going on, I don't know if cages were rattled. I don't know if the older guys looked at the younger guys and go, hey, let's go, guys. This is your moment. Let's go. But there was something there. The tone was set, in other words.
He's an MFing leader. And sometimes players lead by their ability. But even someone like LeBron James, who's been called a great leader, leads because he gets it done himself. I think he didn't always have great patience for other players. Matter of fact, ask Mario Chalmers about that. So I think he was hard for him. Kyle Lowry has great patience for everyone. He has patience for Casey Okpala. He has patience for Gabe Vincent. He has patience to make it work. Think how hard that is, to be a leader in one franchise for a decade, to come to total newcomers and to take over that locker room. God bless what UD does on the side, but on the court, what Kyle Lowry and to an almost equal degree PJ Tucker have done as new guys coming in. You know how it is. Even when you went to other radio stations and other places, you sort of had to stay in your corner, mind your business. You were just part of this here before you went independent. And yet those 2 guys, they didn't give a crap. They said, hey, if we're here, I'm going to do what I've done with Kyle Lowry in Toronto, with PJ Tucker and 9 other stops. I'm going to lead. Their veteran leadership had just been immeasurable and basically irreplaceable.
You mentioned it. Is it real? Is it Memorex? Casey Okpala? Is it that hey, listen, sometimes the light goes on, later on for some players. So is the light coming on later on for Casey Okpala, or is it just an aberration, just 2 freakish games?
Well, I've said so far, the unfortunate part, he's been a once-a-month player. And I thought after Milwaukee, that was once a month. So now the question is, what he did in Chicago, is that the start of a trend, or did that take care of January? Did he already check that box? If you're a once-a-month player, then you're not someone you can say much about except, hey, he had a moment. You know what? He backed it up a little bit, not too much against Chicago. If he backs it up against on this trip, I'll move him up on my board to more than once-a-month player, maybe twice-a-month player.
Let me make a note here. It's 28 minutes. I looked at the box score, and Spo trusted him.
Well, Spo didn't have other players also, Big O.
No, but still, it's 28 minutes that the kid played. That there's something going on there.
There's
Ira.
something going on, but he also was short. He also was shorthanded.
Okay, all right. So you think it was
look, who else was he going to play? Marcus Garrett, number 0, who just got back from the G League. The only players who didn't play,
or leave other guys out there for more minutes that played. I'm just saying.
You know what? That's
28
a great
minutes.
Point. But on the way out, that's something I want to address also. You also, during these injury times, can't burn out players. Kyle Lowry is still 35. PJ Tucker is still 36. Eric Spoelstra is really good, as almost as much as any coach I've seen. He also looks at the big picture and he realizes, yes, the win against Milwaukee was important. Yes, the win against Chicago is important, but I need these guys in March, April, and May. And that's why maybe when Casey Okpala, the kind of game he had against Chicago, in any other time would have been an 18-minute performance. The only 2 available players who did not see major action were Udonis Haslem and Marcus Garrett. So Eric's handling this real smart. He is, as we've talked about the top of this Acura Pembroke Pines report, pissed about how the league is handling these positive results. But on the other hand, one thing about Eric, you give him all the conditions and he sits down there and he has his focus and he decides how he's going to do it and he finds the right way. So yes, guys who might not merit the minutes might be getting the minutes now because having Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, and the older players ready for March, April, and May is what means the most.
Yeah, and in the end, it would be really nice if he hits, even if it's late, because that would really help. the Heat out, and obviously a young player that you've invested.
Anyway, I've got to run because right across from
go
me is a football stadium. I told Baker Mayfield I would help him do the laundry before I left, and then I got to get over to shoot around. So,
all
I
right,
will
get
catch
out of
you
here,
on
Ira.
Wednesday.
Thank you, my brother.
I'll catch Clay for the 1 hour, Pallet Rock City Inside the Paint from Philadelphia. So if you want to know where Ira is, just turn on the Big O Show. Thank you, Big O.
There you go. Be good, brother. There you go. Ira Winderman, Ira Heat Beat on Twitter. That is the Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, an NBA report as he races out to Heat shoot-around, which is at 11 a.m., he told me. So he had to be out by 10:30 so he can race over to the arena. He is awesome, man. He is awesome. It is so good. Ira is awesome. And he'll be back on Wednesday at 9 a.m. as always with our Pallet Rock City. What is
Get
that?
groceries, gifts, and more fast and easy. So last-minute guests are the only thing you'll be waiting on.
Okay, so that's something that's on my computer that just went off. All right. As long as I shut down my what's it called, my porn windows, then it's all right. This other stuff, it's all right if a commercial plays or something. We just don't want any porn getting out. You know what I'm saying? All right, that's our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. We back. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out what the hell it is. I think I know what it is now. I think I know what it is, man. I think I know what is going on. Let me see. There. Yes. Yeah. Now I figured out what it is. Okay. Let me get it out of there, and that way we don't have it anymore. There we go. All right. It's a beautiful thing. We thank Ira Winderman as always. Appreciate Ira, and visit, of course, our great friends at Craig's Inn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you out there as always. Let's see. Big O, I tried the special grilled wings with teriyaki. I feel bad for Sports Grill. There's wing shortage. Oh yeah, there's wing shortage? Is there? I had no idea. Is there a wing shortage? Well, I mean, listen, they got burgers and they got ribs and they got salads and they got wraps and they got conch fritters and they've got, so much, brother. And if you go to the Miami Lakes one, they've got a brunch going on. So they got all kinds of things. So it's not just, wings are great. Obviously, they're freaking delicious, but you do have other options, my brother. All right. You do have other options. Let's see. What do we have here? AH360. Thank you for the love on the super chat. Says, wait a second, Ira, you just said a lot of vaccinated players are spreading COVID too. So couldn't they kill grandpa as well? I'm vaxxed, but don't BS us, please. No, I mean, well, you're unvaccinated. Obviously, you have a bigger chance of spreading everything. If you're vaccinated, there's still a chance. Still a chance you can catch it. It won't hurt you nearly as much. If you're unvaccinated, you have a chance to die. So you're going to avoid death and hospitalization if you get vaccinated. But I mean, there's always a chance on everything. That's why they tell you to wear the mask anyway, because even if you're vaccinated and somehow or another by accident you catch it and then you give it to somebody else, not that you meant to do it. You know what I mean? So, now if you're not vaccinated and you're not trying to protect yourself and others and all that, then obviously you're putting more people at risk. That's just the way it is, man. It is what it is. As you see, new variants come out, everything picks up again, and places start to shut down, and countries. Look at Russia. Russia, 70% of their people aren't vaccinated. So they've got shutdowns all across the country. Why? Because most people aren't vaccinated. The countries that have people that are mostly vaccinated, well, we're the ones that have more freedoms because we have more people vaccinated than everybody else. That helps us, you know. It is what it is. Whatever, man. It's the same stinking discussion we've been having for over a year. People are going to believe whatever the hell they want to believe anyways. Rosendo says, good morning, Big O. Blessing to all the last week before my students go on a long Christmas break. The worst moment today has happened. That was when the alarm went off and I realized it was Monday. Yes. Big O, Big O question, in your opinion, who do you think is the unsung hero of the turnaround of this Finns team? Desperation, professionalism. I think players, just they didn't want to continue losing and they finally figured it out. Plus, I mean, easier schedule too. You're playing easier teams. You have chances to win now, and you're beating most of the teams that you're supposed to, win against. There's a couple of teams that were supposed to be tough tests, like Baltimore and Carolina's defense, and you were able to pass the test there. But overall, schedule and desperation. You know what I mean? But this is not the first time that there's this kind of, where you screw up part of your season and then now you've got to make up for it. I mean, 1-7 just puts you in a hole that's just nearly impossible to climb out of. You know what I'm saying? So I would just go with desperation, professionalism from these guys, and they're figuring things out. Big O, great weekend of football yesterday. A lot of teams that lost benefited. The Finns officially 1 game back of 6 and 7 seeds. Yeah, I mean, Kevin, I'm not going to worry about that. I told you guys I'll worry about that in weeks 18. 17 and 18, right, are our last weeks. I'll go then if they're there, right there, then we can play that game. But right now, I'm just not. I didn't care. I don't know who won and who lost and how it helped. And I wasn't even worried about that yesterday. You know what I mean? Like today you read about, oh, well, this team helped and that team helped. And I never even thought about it yesterday. I was just, you know what I did yesterday? I relaxed all day with the wife, the dogs, sat around. I watched a bunch of football. And then I took off to the Joe Bonamassa concert, which, by the way, Joe Bonamassa last night, my Lord, God, that guy is so good. So good. And by the way, Hard Rock, Seminole Hard Rock, congratulations. What a beautiful arena they built. What a gorgeous arena. Man, and it sounded great. The acoustics were phenomenal last night. It was just, I mean, what they've done with that place, it's awesome. It's just a great place to go and hang out and have a good night with your loved one, with your friends, whatever it is. You want to go, play a game a little bit, some poker, whatever, do it. You want to go out and have a great dinner, all the different restaurants they've got there, a concert. I mean, it's just a great facility to just go hang out and have fun. And I hope they fix this stupid. We got to get past all this crap, man. Sports gambling is not an issue. It's entertainment, period. It's all part of entertainment. You know what I mean? Just let's get over this already. Let's have sports gaming already. Just add it to what we do in our world. Make your damn money, make your damn taxes so you can continue to misuse all the money you misuse in government. Anyway, Edwin Robles says, Big O, tell Chris Sims how many yards did Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball on the winning TD? LOL. What can I tell you, bro? Chris Sims is an idiot, and we spoke our piece on Chris Sims on Friday. But listen, I've laughed at all the Tua haters and non-believers, you're all wrong, and you're all finding out that you're dead ass wrong. And all you got to do is give the kid a line and give the kid a running game, and you're going to have a superstar quarterback. You'll have a franchise guy. That's it. He doesn't have a running game. He doesn't have an offensive line. He doesn't have an offensive coach. He doesn't have a QB coach. And he's overcoming all that garbage. He doesn't have enough reliable receivers, because he has a couple reliable receivers, but he doesn't have enough reliable receivers. And he's overcoming all of that. So whether it's Chris Sims or Joe Fan out there or Joe Media out there, you're all wrong. That's all. And you're all being proven wrong. So I would hope that as time goes on, you just come forward and say, I'm a size queen. I'm wrong. I thought every quarterback's got to be 6'5" and got to be able to throw it, 8,000 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? So it's nuts. It is what it is. What are you going to do? By the way, 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program, that's the text line. If you want to get in. And by the way, also, if you are a sponsor and you want to be a part of our program and you want to, bring aboard your business, whether it's locally in South Florida, statewide, nationally, or internationally, the numbers across the board reach all levels. So whether your company is local or statewide or national, give us a ring, reach out to us, 855-912-1056. We also have a business number. I don't know the business number off the top of my head, but there's a business number. Let me see if I can get the business number and figure that thing out. So you can reach out to us for sponsors. That's what that business number is, only for sponsors. So let me see. Here we go. Yes. 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. If your company wants to join our radio show, and we broadcast from anywhere in the world. So come on out and join us, man. Help the show grow. Don't forget, those of you out there, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. Another way to help us grow. Cash Big O Show is the address. That's Cash Big O Show is the address if you want to send in a donation and help us grow. Let's see. Small O, you are wrong if you think Tua will ever be a top 5 QB. Herbert is already one, and he was doing it last year. Also a 32nd O-line in the league. Sure, dude. Whatever you want to say. Whatever makes you happy that you think Herbert is that much better and he's God and Tua sucks. I don't like Hard Rock anymore. I miss the old Hard Rock when everything was outside with all the shops and restaurants. It was fun. Derek, dude, you couldn't be more wrong. My brother, it's South Florida. When it rained and you were out there, you were effed. And it rains every afternoon once we get into May. So you couldn't be more wrong, dude. That was garbage. That was a bad move by the Hard Rock. I give them a ton of credit for correcting that issue because that was a problem. Trust me. I never parked on the parking lot that was at the end of that thing because of the stinking rain. So I always made sure I parked in the parking lot that was connected to the building. The whatever the hell it's called, that I don't know what it's called, whatever. Why? Because I didn't want to get wet. So I couldn't disagree with you more, dude. I think the outside would get hurt at times because of the rain. And when it was raining, I'm sure the Hard Rock lost business because people had said, oh, no, let's go eat at this. Oh, no, dude, it's raining right now. We're going to get soaked. you're at a bar or at a restaurant. I've been at a bar or restaurant outside and it started raining and now you're stuck and you can't leave the bar or the restaurant unless you want to get soaked on the way to the car. So, dude, I could not disagree with you more. Okay. All right. That's always been kind of a knock on malls that are like that outside in South Florida. It's not a good idea. You got to have some kind of way to protect people. I mean, drive-throughs that don't have a proper roof. Shame on you, dude. Shame on you. When I pull up to a drive-through and it's pouring and you got to and you're getting soaked because you got to lower the window to make an order, shame on you. So I could not disagree with you more on the Hard Rock thing. Okay? I give them credit. The Seminole Hard Rock, they do things the right way. And even when they make a mistake, they correct it pretty much. I mean, that place, I walked it yesterday, man. It's impressive. It's an impressive place. You got to give people credit when they deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Tank McBride says, I'm tired of hearing Dolphin fans cry about we should have plucked this guy or this guy. Just be happy we found our QB. I'm not talking about in sticky fingers in Houston. Yeah, I'm with you too, Tank. How about getting a line and a running game for Tua, and the Dolphins are going to kick some serious ass? How about that? I'm with Tank McBride on this one. Okay, that's what we should be talking about as Dolphin fans. Okay, the Dolphins got their quarterback. All you people out there that were against Tua, you're dead ass wrong. Period. Okay? That's it. I don't care what stupid ass comparison you want to come up with or whatever bitterness you have. You're dead wrong. Tua's a franchise quarterback by miles. It's not up for discussion. You want to talk about his durability? We could talk about that. That's the discussion. But whether he can play at this level, you're wrong. That's all. You're wrong. So shut the hell up, get on the positive side of it, and say, all right, let's get the kid an offensive line. Let's get the young man a running game. And let's watch him freaking kick ass. Oh, by the way, draft another wide receiver. All right? Pay Gesicki, draft another wide receiver, and improve the hell out of this offense and give the young man the weapons he needs in order to succeed. The Dolphins got their quarterback. It's about protecting him now, allowing him to succeed. So that's what it's all about. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, what's your take on why the Finns didn't stick to how they were playing defensively last year until 5 games ago? I mean, didn't get the reason why they went away from what worked last year. Well, you're never going to – Flo's not going to ever tell you anything, dude. So he's not going to admit anything, but whatever. He didn't know how to play Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips would be over 10 sacks right now. Let me repeat that again. Okay? Jalen Phillips would be over 10 sacks now if they actually played him the right way from the beginning. This is all part of the 800 mistakes that Flo has made this year. It's the problem is that fans are short-sighted and fans a lot of times don't take the time to actually look at the big picture. Remember how I tell you in crypto, go macro, not micro? Same thing. They don't go macro, they go micro. So they're stuck in this 5-game winning streak, and they think this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then they don't look at the fact that you're 1-7 because the coach screwed up over and over again with all kinds of things. So what are you going to do, man? Dennis Ramirez says, Big O, Dan Marino with Jimmy could not have a successful season since no offense or running game. So how is Tua going to be successful? Give Tua a break. Dennis Ramirez, what the hell is wrong with you? You, sir, are spewing common sense and intelligence. They don't want to hear that. You're too smart for this conversation. They don't want to know facts. They don't want to know any common sense. Don't tell them that Terry Bradshaw had Stallworth and had Swan and had, Joe Green and had an incredible line and one of the greatest defenses. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that Joe Montana had Pro Bowlers on the offensive line, Hall of Famers at wide receiver, tight end, a Pro Bowl running back, a Hall of Fame coach. Dude, don't tell them that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't tell them that Tom Brady had the greatest offensive line coach ever, always had great lines, excellent coaches. No, we can't do that, bro. We cannot do those things. We have to, you and I have to give in to the stupidity that it's all Tua. It's all his fault. He's got to carry the whole franchise. He doesn't need any help. He's Super Tua. Love you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for the common sense. Intelligence is out there. Who knew? Wow. Damn. Holy crap. Wow. There's intelligence. There's intelligent life out there. That gives me hope. Let's see. Big O, with the gap only being one game of Bills Mafia, do you see them overtaking them in the standings? I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see how they play the last couple games. Obviously, you got to win this week. But we'll see what happens. The Bills, not as good as people think they are, right? Well, they've taken a few steps back. Greasy had a great O-line, a very good defense, well, great defense, and an awesome running game around him. He was an exceptional game manager. The Finns will make history by starting 1-7 and make the playoffs. I truly believe once we have as much of a chance as anyone to get to the dance. Do you think we can win the next 4? Yeah, they can win the next 4. Of course they can win the next 4. Yeah. I mean, they need a lot of things to go their way. I'm not talking about lucky breaks or anything like that, but they've got to play a lot of smart football. But they can do it. Yeah. Why not? The New England offense isn't a potent offense. So as long as that defense comes to play, you got a shot at making it a tight game and you got a shot at winning. And now Tua can elevate people around him because he's got a bunch of garbage around him, and somehow or another he's figuring out ways to make plays. So you got a shot. There's no doubt you got a shot. Had the Dolphins played better in the first half of the season and beat the Raiders, Falcons, and Jaguars, they would be one of the top seeds in the playoffs. Yes, they would. They should be one of the top seeds. But, so what are you going to do? Let's see. No size queen here. I like Tua, but Herbert was the pick to make. I followed him throughout college, saw every game, and he was the man. I know, right? Yeah, he was the man. No signature moments whatsoever. Yeah, I know he was the man. Yeah, no, he was running mostly than passing. If one thing I will say, Mario Cristobal did not do him any justice whatsoever. Okay? As much as I like the hiring, but unfortunately I got more balls than most people because I will call it like I see it. Mario Cristobal and the way his offense was called, did not showcase that kid in the best possible way. Okay? Whether it's the kid's fault or their fault or whatever, it did not look good. So he the way he plays now, never played like that at Oregon. Never. All right? He might have had one moment or something like that, but that wasn't him at Oregon. He would run more. So that's where, obviously you're full of crap. See, the funny part is none of this Herbert talk was existing during the draft. None of this. Because everybody was listening to the what's that called? The introvert talk, which kind of reminded you a lot of Tannehill. And he had no signature moments at Oregon. Nothing. That was the problem. Meanwhile, Tua had signature moments. That's the difference. One guy had signature moments and won it all. The other guy didn't. So you guys, it's all hindsight. It's all BS. You're all full of crap, just like that guy there. He wasn't watching him saying he's the man and all that. None of you guys were calling in. None of you guys were reaching out saying Herbert was the man. You're all full of crap. Okay? Bottom line. And last time I checked, Herbert lost to Tua. End of story. Last time I checked, his record isn't that much better with Tua, and he's got everything better than Tua. Receivers, offensive line, running game, coaches, everything is better that he's got. And what does he have? 2 more wins? Give me a break. We switch spots, and Tua does better than Herbert. We switch spots, and Herbert suffers here and gets killed here and probably throws more interceptions than Tua. So there you go. But you guys can make up whatever you want. Did you see Jakeem Grant, Big O, clearly proves Flo's coaching team failed to use Grant to his strengths or create the environment for him too? Maybe Flo wasn't good for Jakeem Grant. Jakeem Grant led the team in receiving last week. And this week, Jakeem Grant, okay, let's see. Jakeem Grant led the Bears last week in wide receiving. This week had 1 reception for 46 yards, a touchdown. He had 3 punt returns last night for 131 yards and a touchdown, including the 97-yard punt return for a touchdown, which, by the way, is the first and only punt return for a touchdown in the NFL this season. And who owns it? Jakeem Grant. But, when it comes to Flo, if he don't like you, you got to go. So they trade him. And look, I said it then. I understood. He fumbled, and I couldn't defend it, all that. I get it. Not that I would have traded the kid. I would have kept him. The Dolphins aren't better at returning without Jakeem Grant. Okay? I looked it up. He has 7 fumbles lost in 5 years. I know he's had drops, and I've said it myself. Don't use him so much as a wide receiver, although yesterday he had a 46-yard touchdown. But you use him as a returner. And as a returner, and he has 7 fumbles lost in 5 years. So it's a little over 1 fumble lost a year. I'm going to be interested to see if the drops continue in Chicago, or does he play better in Chicago because of whatever? What the environment, the support, I don't know. I have no idea. But I know this, the Dolphins aren't better on special teams as returning without Jakeem Grant. Jakeem Grant has proven over and over again that he is one of the best returners in the NFL. And he did it again yesterday. Okay? So, I get it. There's all this hate and all that with him, but considering where you picked him and what he does, he does something that nobody else does. Ronald goes, longest punt return in NFL history. Yep, exactly. But whatever. So what are you going to do? Oh, what's the deal with Billy Turner playing well in Green Bay? He sucks so badly for us. Coaching, my brother. Coaching. And go look at Dennis Hickey's 2 drafts. Why do you think I am one of the few people on the planet, because most of you wanted to fire Chris Grier? Why do you think I did not want to fire the front office? At no point. Why do you think I've been telling you it's coaching from the get-go? And a lot of you that thought Chris Grier, now you're all eating your words. And now you're all going, yeah, I think he's right. I think it's coaching. We got to give players time to develop. And you got to have the right coaches. And unfortunately, on the offensive side, you have a coach right now that can't find the right offensive coaches. And as long as you have that, you will have problems on offense. So it is what it is. Grant killed it last night in Green Bay Chicago game, though. Yes, he did. Tua's fine. There's those of us that know football and see talent. Then there's a bunch of complainers packed like lemmings in shiny little boxes. Verse from Synchronicity, the police. Let's see. The 49ers might have a late 3rd round pick if all the best linemen are gone. A top 3 running back would be the move, in my opinion. Jean, do you know all the players that are coming out? Do you know about all the players that are available? So you've done all the scouting on everybody that's available. All the juniors that are going to declare, you know everything already. Okay. I mean, they should hire Sean right now. Or Jean, I'm sorry. They should hire Jean for GM. Apparently, he's got a grip on all the picks in the draft. He knows everything that's going on. Everybody is declared. He knows all of their physical ailments. He's interviewed them. He knows mentally where they're all at. He knows exactly the juniors that are declaring. John is the guy. I mean, it is December. What is this now? It's December 13th. And my man John already knows everything about the draft, inside and out. It's impressive. We got to hire him. All right, it's 11 a.m., baby. It is hour number 2. Let's take a quick break, rest the voice, get ready for a little Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. That's next.
When you're ready to purchase a new home loan or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411, and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
All righty. Yes, sir. Time to talk a little Miami Dolphins and NFL with my man Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. Well rested.
We've
tackled the sleeping, the waking up infant. So now I'm on my week 2 of full night's sleep.
Okay. All right. I figured today you would be wearing your Jakeem Grant jersey this morning with, that performance yesterday, that dominating performance as the only man in the NFL to have a punt return for a touchdown this season. We had to wait till this week. It took to this week, this year, to get a punt return for a touchdown, and it was your favorite player of all time, baby. Jakeem the Dream Grant.
Jakeem is always good for one game a year where he has a dominant performance, and that's important because that's going to keep him playing in the NFL. If you look at what he just did last night, that should give him another nice, chunky $3 million a year contract to be a return specialist.
I know. Remember our conversation last week. He did lead the team in receiving last week. I just want you to know that. And then last night he also had one reception for a 46-yard touchdown.
Yes, of course. Yes. So Dolphins need a return specialist and a wide receiver. Yeah, let's re-sign Jakeem Grant. He's going to be a free agent. Let's do that. I have no problem with that.
I'm just saying,
I think I miss Jakeem.
Maybe somebody's getting, some support over there, and he's playing better. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe Flo doesn't create an environment for certain players. I don't know.
Listen, we know at this point we should know who Jakeem is as a receiver. He's not a very good receiver. He's a good gadget player. If you like gadget players, cool. I am bothered by the de-emphasization on special teams and its impact on the game. The NFL has tried and done a ton of things, watered down the rules. The Bears last night, if they were allowed to field a muffed punt and allowed to return an onside kick recovered for a touchdown, they would have 14 more points. Like that in one game, 2 plays that had recently taken away from the return element of the game. Why, I don't know. That's 14.
Oh no, you do know because of the collisions that happened in that play.
So they don't have collisions on offense and defense?
Well, but what do you want me to tell you, dude? I mean, these guys to break the wedge and all that kind of stuff. There's crazy. The impacts at the line of scrimmage are in short spaces.
That has
but on special teams
with being
they're running wild.
That has nothing to do with being able to return a punt that somebody muffed and you picked it up and returned it for a touchdown.
I get what you're saying, but you're saying about the watered down rules. I'm just telling you, it's because they've had a lot of concussions and they're trying to cut them down, and they have cut down.
Hey, this is an unsafe
trying
game.
to eliminate and they're trying to eliminate the lawsuits too, all these kind of things. So that's where it came from. It's not anything else.
It's an unsafe game. You want to eliminate all the collision in it? Okay, cool. Let's start wearing flags. Okay.
Well, eventually we'll be there. We'll be there eventually, but I mean, we're kind of working our way to that. They're doing what they can to kind of keep the game alive, right?
Yeah.
That's why more parents than ever are saying to their kids, "Yeah, no, you're not playing football."
No.
No.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I'm not having any of that. I'm not going to watch your ass concussed on the floor and you're 14 years old. No, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So that's why things have changed in the NFL, because they know that it's already influencing generations in the future.
Still, these rules, they need to be reevaluated and assessed and altered in the offseason at the NFL owners meeting. I would be very highly disappointed if the Chicago Bears didn't petition the league, show the game from last night, and say, give me the reason why you cannot return a fielded onside kick, or you cannot return a muff punt. Like, give me the reason, because that doesn't have anything to do with collision. They recovered the ball and they're running with it. How different is that than somebody who recovers the ball on a fumble on defense? So now that you've recovered the ball on a fumble on defense, you can't run with it? Like, what sense does that make?
No, I'm getting you. I totally understand what you're saying. It's just obviously they're trying to clean up that part of the game where they must have felt like a lot of
it's non-existent. Like,
no, I know. I get you, but I guess whatever in their studies, they must have realized that a lot of the issues have come from
the
that
full speed collisions,
that part of the game.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
Full speed collisions is, it's not, you're usually not getting guys running at each other for 40 yards and then go bam. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna create a lot of injuries. But this is about recovering a ball. Yeah, get people running a punt returner. It's a dangerous job. That's why not a lot of people can do it. That's why Jakeem Grant's been in the league for what now? 6-7 years?
5 years. 5 years. 5 years.
Just 5 years? He's only done 5?
5 years. Yeah, I looked it up. He's lost 7 fumbles in 5 years. I wanted to look it up because I knew that was going to come up, and so he averages.
We know who Jakeem is. Yeah, we know who Jakeem is, and I'm happy for him because he's got a lot of kids and a lot of mouths to feed, and he's an inspiration out there to all the 5'4" athletes in the world. So,
you gotta take a shot at his height too, bro. You're making him even shorter than what he really is.
He's
dude.
An inspiration. Do you see him out there standing next to real football players?
Did you have to say? But he's not 5'4". He's taller than
5'6". Okay, he's all right. My bad. I exaggerate. He's 5'6". My bad.
Jesus God, man, you're so negative on the poor kid.
Listen,
the greatest returner in Dolphin history.
Absolutely,
and you're just dissing him.
And they should make him an offer. They should try to re-sign him. They should, because the return game is one of the elements of this team that sucks. It's horrible.
Well, if they fire Flo in the offseason,
they won't fire Flo. We need to get off that. We need to get off that.
And they can't. Then they can't bring Jakeem back. So Jakeem's not coming back if Flo's here.
Jakeem is praying for money. That's what Jakeem is. Dolphins offer money. Jakeem will consider it, but it has to be a role where hey, receiver is not really a thing that we're gonna do with you.
No.
Props to the Bears for using him as a receiver, as a weapon. He's a gadget. He's a nice gadget player.
2 weeks in a row, he's been incredibly productive as a wide receiver. I'm gonna be interested to see if this environment, wherever he goes, if he stays in Chicago, if he eliminates the mistakes from his game. Because if he does, then obviously
Whatever.
he becomes a hell of a player if he ends up doing that. He's already a hell of a returner, but he can become a hell of a player if he can
Yeah, Dolphins kept waiting on
mistakes
that.
out. Running backs, does the way the whole protocol works, is there a chance for Gaskin and Achman to make it back for Sunday, or are they already out for sure?
Absolutely a chance. All they have to do is produce two negative tests within a 24-hour span, and they'll be clear. The viral load it's about the viral load, it's about the symptoms. If they're symptomatic, yeah, you can't come around. Now, the whole, I think the biggest fear is, can they infect the rest of the team? And with that, I'm being extremely cautious. I personally don't believe that they need either of them to make it through this game. They're working out Lamar Miller today. Not to say that they're going to sign Lamar Miller, but I think that you can make it through with Philip Lindsay if he comes back from that ankle injury, and you can make it through with Duke Johnson as the number 2. And
by the way, I can see them signing Lamar Miller to the practice squad just for security purposes.
Absolutely, no question about
it. And then by the end of the week, they'll find out where they really stand.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, they can break glass, use Lamar. You know what I'm saying?
Malcolm, no, I don't think they do that. Malcolm Brown is eligible to come off IR. He's been working out. He just hasn't been practiced. I'd be shocked if he doesn't practice this week. Malcolm Brown.
Who's that? Who's Malcolm Brown? Who's that?
Got 3 point. He's the tailback with the largest yards per carry average than everybody but Duke Johnson.
All right, so the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while.
He was the starter earlier this season.
He stumbled, for a couple of extra yards.
Still has the biggest run of the season for the Dolphins, which is very disappointing, 24 yards. But yeah, the run game, run game is what it is. It's not like it can get worse.
No.
Unless
they get on their knees and they start rushing with their knees, maybe that's about the only way it could. In other words, if they rush the ball at Jakeem Grant's height. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Say that again. Go. I'm sorry.
And on top of that,
you would enjoy that.
You could use Albert Wilson in the backfield as well because he's more running back. He's got those skill sets. So.
Yeah, but Albert Wilson likes to run in the other direction. That's the problem. So that's, Albert, I don't know what it is about Albert, but he likes negative yardage. You know what I mean? He must be a fan of that Minnesota Vikings player that ran in the other direction for a touchdown once. I forgot his name now. I'm brain farting, but he must be a fan of that guy, Albert Wilson, because Albert Wilson on his football card is going to have yards, and then they're going to have a separate section of negative yardage plays.
One play.
I think he holds the record. We might put him in Canton just for the negative yards plays.
One play. In 2017, he also led the league in yards after the catch. So.
I heard in 2018, he also led the NFL in catches in a game after eating 10 pancakes. So, he holds all kinds of distinctive records that are just things that, nobody's really going to ever challenge. Think about 10 pancakes and then led also the team in receiving. That's strong.
Listen,
impressive.
I don't care who it is. I would like for there to be another offensive weapon that emerges. And really, if you think about it, you've got 2 or 3 maybe with Devontae Parker if he's healthy this week, which you never know. It's like a roll of the dice. And let's see, just one more weapon emerge, just one.
Well, speaking of running quarterbacks, Zach Wilson this week against the Dolphins. Longest play from scrimmage was an 18-yard run by Zach Wilson this week for the Jets. So I know that makes you kind of sleepy and you're a little bored about that. I'm excited. Are we supposed to get nervous about Zach Wilson's legs instead of his arm?
I'm excited for them to play Zach Wilson because it gives you a glimpse of what the future looks like. And I think that he's a perfect quarterback that this defense can feast off. I mean,
I'm excited about them playing Zach Wilson. Do you know why? Because there's a chance they'll show his mom a couple of times, and she's a smoke show. So that, to me, that's really what it's all about with Zach Wilson, is just to see his mom. Whether you agree or disagree with her politics, I don't care. But you got to admit she's a smoke show. So that to me is really the highlight of this week playing against the Jets, is just to see Mrs. Wilson on television. That's all. Do you think she'll be here in Miami to watch it?
Who wouldn't pass up a trip to Miami? Generally, I mean, that's part of the appeal here.
Just saying. I hope she shows up in a bathing suit.
Stop it, to the game.
Why not? You've never seen a woman with a bathing suit top at a Dolphins game? I have. I've seen that.
I've seen it. I've seen
that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think I encourage Mrs. Wilson to wear, a bathing suit to the game. I think a lot of men, red-blooded American men, are encouraging that. In fact, on the chat board right now, are you all right now? Give it to me on the chat board. Are you all with me encouraging Mrs. Wilson to go to the game in a bathing suit? That's all I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mother of an NFL quarterback. Okay.
Smoke show mother. Have you seen her? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, she's a nice MILF-looking woman.
Okay, well, there we go. Okay, I finally got some honesty out of you. All right. There we go. Like pulling teeth. Damn it. See, people are saying, yes, 100%. I'll pay extra. See, this is it, man, right there.
I think he's expressed the fact he doesn't like how everybody thinks his mom is hot.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
Come on, dude. Really, do you want to be the kid that has a hot mom and then you got to hang around your friends?
Listen, no.
That's a burden.
My kids had that issue. Yep. Yep.
I'm not even going to approach that subject. I'm not going to talk about it, but you did outkick your coverage. I will say that.
I was referring to the first one. Grown kids. I did. Yes, I did.
You outkicked your coverage so badly that not even Jakeem Grant can make up the ground for how much you outkicked your coverage. Okay? Jakeem Grant is one of the great returners of all time, and he can't make up for that. Yeah.
I do all right out here on these streets, but I was referring to the mother of my 20-year-old who,
I don't know. I've never seen her, but I saw.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman.
I saw your current wife right now.
Absolutely. My current wife is unbelievable. She was goals from the very moment.
Quite frankly, I told my wife, I think you have her mesmerized with some kind of drug or something. I don't know how she's still hanging around you. I'm not exactly
I do all
sure.
right. I do all right.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if you have her hypotized or something.
I do okay.
Any better. I'm not sure, dude. I'm not sure.
I eat market price. I do all right. I do all right on these streets. I'm not shopping fast food. I do okay. But
you're not. No. You're eating Chateaubriand, not 7-Eleven there. Okay.
Yeah.
But by the way, that's the finest steak that there is.
I would never know. What's the Chinese beef? Is it Wagyu?
Oh, Kobe beef. You're talking about?
No, I don't. I think it's Wagyu. I'm not 100%.
Oh, yeah, there is Wagyu. I think something like that. Yeah, I think it's called Wagyu or something. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't eat steak anymore. So that's...
I can't eat steak all the time, but I can eat a steak. But I can't.
And then suffer the consequences.
Right. I can't eat a steak and then the next day have a bunch of bacon for breakfast. Then I would screw things up. I gotta then give it a couple days, 4 or 5 days a week, and then I can have again, something. So yeah, that's how I've got to pace myself, Omar, nowadays. Okay. And I still one day I'm going to take you to Burns Steakhouse. Okay, I'm going to take
I've
you.
been to
I got to
Burns.
take.
I've actually been to Burns in Tampa, right? Yeah, I've been to Burns.
Yeah, but you didn't. We already had this conversation. You haven't had the Chateaubriand.
No,
So I got to get you to have the Chateaubriand because it is the most tender, most juiciest steak there is. Period. It's amazing. I'm telling you. I would never mislead you. Okay.
Got it.
One day, we're gonna be. Unfortunately, we got no East-West Shrine there anymore. Now it's out in Vegas, which kind of sucks. So.
Is it the premier game now, or is it still the Senior Bowl?
No. Senior Bowl is always the number one.
I've always thought the NFLPA game they should do underclassmen. They should have an underclassmen game, and think about how hot that would be.
That I know. I mean, that's been talked about for many, many years to make an underclassmen game, but they just haven't got to that point. And then a lot of those players don't want to even play. That's the problem.
It doesn't matter if they want to play.
Usually, because remember, Doggy, usually those underclassmen that declare, they're some of the best players in the.
Yeah, but some of them are third day guys. Some of them are now going
right. No, but I'm talking about the upper echelon third.
Yeah. Let's just have it for everybody. For everybody.
Right, but those guys feel like I can only hurt myself by playing, not help myself. That's the problem because they're already coming out with all the hype, and that's the thing. That's what's
situation. Missing from the game. We got NILs. We're about to head on to a playoff game. Now we need an underclassmen evaluation game so that we can, I forget who. Some tons of underclassmen go in the 7th round now, like tons of them.
And they go undrafted too sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
tons of them.
We've had them here for the University of Miami. We've had a lot of them that they have declared early.
Yeah,
and they screwed up very early because. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, and it happens, man. People have, like when Frank had to leave, his mom, dude, was on dialysis. I mean, give me a break. The guy needs the money, bro. You know what I mean? So he
shouldn't have stayed for another year anyway. Like, come on.
No.
I don't blame players for not wanting to play their senior year in college. There's no benefit to it.
If it's crap. If you got a shot to play for a national title and really boost your stock program, I can know. But what I'm saying is, I can understand people staying for that. But if you're on a crap team, a crap program, why would you come back for your final year? If you're going to be draft eligible and you're already going at a high spot already, get the hell out.
Yeah, who's a guy, Trill Williams, a guy that's on the Dolphins roster, a rookie. He's got some talent. He left Syracuse early, didn't get drafted, signed with New Orleans, got waived injured, and Dolphins claimed him on waiver wire, and he's been on the 53 ever since. He's got some talent too. So
yeah.
The game that I'm proposing, the NFLPA game, which would openly invite underclassmen, that would be a perfect opportunity for players like him to go showcase themselves and say, hey, I am an elite talent in this draft. I deserve to be a 4th round pick, not a 7th round pick or undrafted player. So, just thinking out the box here.
Well, if I get everything, all the ducks in line, we may end up in the NFLPA and the East-West this year. No Senior Bowl, actually. So
why no? Yeah.
Well, because the Senior Bowl and the East-West are overlapping each other. And for travel purposes, it's a pain in the ass for me. And I can actually, I was looking at the schedule yesterday. I could actually do the NFLPA, do the East-West, and then do the Pro Bowl. So okay. I don't know if Sean can stay out west for 2.5 weeks, but we could actually pull it off. I was looking at it, but obviously all these certain things have to fall into place for us to pull it off. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. You got faith this week, right? The boys will pull it off?
Yeah, I'm excited to see this week. I think it's the biggest game of the season because it'll get you to 500. Then next week will be the biggest game of the season because it'll get you in the playoff mix. Then the next week, it's the Ryan Tannehill Bowl.
It's the Tannehill time. Tannehill.
It's the Tannehill Bowl. Tannehill's revenge. Wouldn't it be amazing or just so what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what word I'm looking for, but if Tannehill would extinguish the Dolphins' playoff chances, think about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Think about the poetry of that.
I'm expecting at least 2 turnovers in that game.
Or the Dolphins extinguish Tannehill's playoff chances.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think is going to end up happening.
The Tua versus Tannehill battle. It's like
a real quarterback against the guy that still is trying to be a quarterback 9 years.
He won last week, man. Listen, I can't. He's not going to take them where the ultimate destination is, but he keeps you above water. That's when it's all said and done about Ryan Tannehill, we'll say he kept his team above water. Like,
yeah.
It's okay. It's not bad.
Yeah, he's turned out to be a decent game manager at times. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And never Tua, a franchise.
Yeah, if Tua takes care of business against the Jets, he'll be 11-7 as an NFL starting quarterback. Sample size is going to be ridiculous and impressive, and show you that there's tons of potential if you improve the offensive line and get him more weaponry. I'm very excited to see this week if not only Malcolm Brown comes back, but we got Mr. Will Fuller, who, God, if you can't come back now, 12 weeks after going on IR, like with a broken finger, when are you coming back, if ever?
Yeah, what for? He'll come back and run 2 routes and get injured again, probably. G Firm, by the way, is asking both you and me. He says, I think Tua's juke move deserves a name. I propose the Hawaiian Saki. Thoughts? And thank you for the love on the super chat, G Firm. Thank you.
I have no idea what juke move he's referring to.
Like when he makes a guy miss, when he's running out in the open field and he makes a guy miss. He's done that a couple times, actually. Did it once this year. Did it last year also inside the 5.
Why not the Hawaiian shake or the Hawaiian hula? Saki, like I'm thinking.
Yeah, Saki is more than 8. Huh?
He corrected it with another super chat. He meant to say shake.
Oh, the Hawaiian shake. Oh, okay. He did put shake. Okay.
The Hawaiian shake. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. G Firm did put another one. Thank you, G Firm.
The Hawaiian. Yeah.
Okay.
Hawaiian shake. I like it. I'm in.
Okay. Yeah. I got no problem with the Hawaiian shake. I don't think I can come up with anything better, G Firm. So I'll go with Hawaiian shake. I'm good with that. All right, tell them what you're working on so they can check you out at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, my friend.
Really just revisiting issues that we thought coming into the season might prevent this team from reaching their potential and seeing where they are with those. I mean, the running game, the offensive line, quarterback development. I mean, quarterback development's got to be the one thing that's really encouraging about this team. The co-offensive coordinators, are they getting better, or is Tua just making it look better? Yeah, I mean, we got to assess, because this is a good assessment period, because we're going to head into the offseason, and whatever their record is, whether it's going to be, I think they're going to be 9-7. That's my 9-8 is what I think they're going to be. We're going to sit there and we're going to say, well, is it good enough? And my answer is probably going to be no, it's not. And hopefully it can get better. They're going to have more cap space than any other team in the NFL. Not to say that should lead to a big shopping spree, but certainly you got areas to address, and you need to address them.
Yeah, Tua's bailing out. He is masking all the which is
as
amazing.
Good quarterbacks do. As good quarterbacks.
I know, but he's
they said
young.
Last night, Chris Collinsworth, I think the worst broadcaster in the league, said on television during the Green Bay Chicago game, he's like, "Oh, this Aaron's playing with a disaster of an offensive line. They've got all these injuries, all these backups," because right when Billy Turner went down. And I thought to myself, You want to see a disaster of an offensive line? Like,
Right,
I'll show
right.
you a disaster of an offensive line.
I'm
Like,
just impressed that he's so young to be masking all of this.
Aaron Rodgers was standing back there for like 5-6 seconds before he threw the ball. And this is with backups. And I thought to myself, what the bleep? Like with starters, Tua can't get 5 seconds. It's unreal.
He was pressured handing off, dude. I've watched him handing off, and there's a defender right on his ass as he's handing off, dude. I've watched that. I mean, that's how disgusting it is what he does. That's why I am so impressed with Tua. I was impressed last year, and I'm even more impressed this year that he has learned to play under chaos, which is this, to me, that's how I measure all quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
That's when I know you're a franchise guy. Franchise guys can play under chaos. Not that you live under chaos because you will die, but that there are going to be times you're going to play with your third left tackle, your second center. That's just the way it is. You're going to play with 3 backup wide receivers.
This year.
And you've got to find a way to make plays at times. I'm not telling you that every week of every game of your life has to be that way, because nobody will live that way. Not Joe Montana, not anybody. Everybody dies. But you have to show me at times that you can play in chaotic situations. And that's what Tua has shown me, which is what I don't see under Tannehill to this very day. If there's chaos, boom, his brain gets scrambled and it's over, okay? And that's why I've never, ever looked at him as a franchise guy, because a lot of guys, when you have a line, when you have a running game, when you have great receivers, they can be good players for you. But show me that you can be a good player when you're behind the 8 ball, when certain things aren't working your way. That's what I've seen from Tua. That's why I'm convinced. Keep him healthy and we're fine.
We'll see.
Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Better yet, subscribe like I do and many others and support our local journalists, all right? They do a great job. Omar, much love, my brother. We will catch up on Friday.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. There you go, the great Omar Kelly, getting it done, as always. Appreciate Omar here on the program. The Samoan Southpaw. Like it. Love Big O criticizing an improving offensive line day after day, yet he thinks the architect of that line should stay. The architect of the line. Right. Okay. So, wow. DP, my brother, I can't help you, bro, if you're not very smart. Really. So all the defensive players and the offensive players are all developing, except the players on the O-line. Do the math, my brother. Are you really that stupid? Do you think they've hit on most of all their defensive players and their offensive players? The only 2 guys that aren't playing are Noah and Hunter, and that's because they have people in front of them. Every other draft pick's developing, except the line. So have some common sense. Are you really that stupid to think that all 5 linemen are terrible? We just had a conversation that Billy Turner has turned into a solid player after leaving the Dolphins. DP, are you really that stupid? Do you have any common sense whatsoever? I've been saying this for months now. Do you really think all 5 linemen are a bust? So they hit on everybody else. They hit on Brandon Jones, and they hit on Holland, and they hit on Phillips, and they hit on Wilkins, and they hit on Jalen Waddle, and they hit on Gesicki, and they hit on Tua, and they hit on Durham Smythe, and they hit on Gaskin, and they hit on all these players, but they missed on every lineman. So you think the front office can draft every position except all 5 linemen? So if all 5 linemen leave, They will all be bad, and none of them you think will turn out to be good players somewhere else. Wow. No, they're not. Yeah, I got you, DP. You're freaking stupid. It's all right, brother. There's a dummy born like probably every other second. You are one of them. I mean, really, just use common sense. That's all. It's obvious our O-line coach has a clue of what he's doing. Solo is an absolute mauler, and we have Jackson starting over him because he's the number 18 overall pick. Thomas says, Big O, what do you think about the broken down Big Ben throwing bombs? Almost won that game with a terrible offensive line. Just saying. I think Big Ben is done. History toast. But Thomas, he was a great player. It's like Dwayne Wade, okay? The last year or two of Dwayne Wade's career, was he really the Dwayne Wade we were spoiled with? No, right? And he had to kind of take care of himself and pace himself, but he would have moments, right? Why did he have moments? Because he was a great player. So he can still give you some moments every once in a while, but he no longer can do it every single night. Big Ben is toast. But there's still a little left in the tank that every once in a while he can show you something and do some of the things that he used to do. That's what these great players do, Thomas. And it doesn't matter what sport we're talking about. If you're Kirk Gibson, I don't know how old you are, Thomas, but if you're Kirk Gibson, you're a hell of a player. Tommy Lasorda needs you to pinch hit. You're injured. You're hurting. You can't run straight, but you still hit it out of the park. Do you know why? Because you're a great player. Even injured, you still can do some great things. And that's what great players do, even down the stretch at the end of their careers. They'll have those moments that will remind you why they were great players. But don't kid yourself. Ben Roethlisberger is done. He needs to retire. I get it. He was making a lot of money this year. He didn't want to leave it on the table. So he came back and all that. Deep down inside, he knows he's not himself anymore. But it happens. And it doesn't matter what it is, my brother. Bernard King, had knee surgery, and you thought his career, we all thought his career was over. And he found the energy, the spirit, the champion-like quality that he had in him because Bernard King was a badass, okay? And he played the year of his life, and he played over his head because his knee, he played on one leg. Even though he was running around on two, he was probably playing on one. But he could do it because he's a great player. And that's what we're watching with Ben Roethlisberger. It's nothing different. I've seen it for 40 years in sports. Great players, every once in a while, man, they can dig deep and they can find that magic that they used to have. That's it. Big O, did you watch the Cowboys game yesterday? Dak has been very inaccurate these past 4 games. Tua makes some often throws in his sleep. Why do you think Tua gets so much hate? Because he's short, I guess. I don't know. Because he doesn't have an arm that goes, 10,000 miles downfield. That's the only reason why people don't believe in him. That's all, Thomas goes, I told you I'm older than you. Well, Thomas, you want me to remember everything from people that send in texts? Are you serious? There's 433 people on right now. I'm not going to remember everything that everybody tells me, dude. Let's see. What else do we have? Dune Goon says, getting pressure while handing off the ball got me rolling. So true. No, it's true. But I'm not lying. That's the sad part. I wish I was lying. I wish I was making it up, but I'm not lying. It's just ridiculous when I see somebody actually like pressuring Tua as he's handing off, and I'm like, God, this line is so bad. Big O, what are your favorite NFL broadcasters covering the game? Al Michaels, Mike Tirico, Jim Nantz, my favorites. Mike Tirico looks like the nicest guy in the world. He does nothing for me on the broadcast. Al Michaels obviously is a classic. I love Al Michaels. Jim Nantz is fine. Trying to think of football-wise. Obviously, I love Kevin Harlan for basketball. Who's my guy in football? God. That's a good question. I don't know. I gotta think about that. I gotta think, because right now I'm somehow or another I have this feeling like there's somebody I do like, and I'm forgetting that person right now and not talking about it. It definitely will not be Troy Aikman. Okay, that I can tell you as an analyst. I want nothing to do with Troy Aikman. Man, he is Mr. Obvious. Oh, Charles Davis. I like him as an analyst a lot. Well, Pat Summerall, yeah, but that's, it's back in the day. Joe Buck, Gus Johnson, I do love, but not for football. Gus is not my guy for football. I gotta think of something. I know maybe one of you will. I hate Collinsworth. Well, the problem with Collinsworth now, all he does is shill for his stuff. So that's the thing. Hope your day off was awesome, or at least pleasant. Have you seen the movie what is it? Idiocracy? No, I have not seen it. No, I have not seen it. And I'm an idiot for not being able to read it right either. There was a couple of times I thought the defense was going to intercept the handoff. Can you imagine that, dude? I think that happened once. I think it happened once that somebody got into the backfield and was able to take the handoff of somebody years ago. Years ago. I don't know how long ago, but it was bad. I remember that. Romo is an analyst I like, actually. But I think he's talking about the play-by-play guy. Everybody is dumb in the future. Well, I'm dumb in the present, so that's fine. That might be a good movie for me. Big O, what do you think of Peyton Manning saying good things about the offensive coaching? Show me where Peyton Manning rips coaches. Okay? Does Peyton Manning rip coaches? That's what I want to know. See, you have no credibility with me as a broadcaster if you're not going to do both. So I don't know if I've caught Peyton Manning saying, this is a terrible coaching staff. They don't know what they're doing. They're mishandling this player. He's not going to grow because of this. This quarterback is struggling because they're making him do this and this. I don't know what this quarterback's coach is doing. I haven't seen that yet from Peyton Manning. So if I don't see that from Peyton Manning, then I'm not interested in listening to what you have to say. Because then I know you're just waiting for good moments to then just praise somebody and then just give general praise overall. But I need to hear criticism. And I don't think I've ever heard any criticism. I don't watch those broadcasts on Monday night. Like, it's tonight, right? Yeah. Tonight. I have yet to watch it. I've seen like little excerpts from it, like on social media or something like that, but I have not watched it. So I can't say that he does do that. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I haven't seen it yet. So that's my problem with anybody that does something in our business. And especially former players and former coaches, like with John Gruden at times, which it ended up being right, he would do his Monday night shtick, and he would do it in a way where he was always like being, what's it called? He was always like walking on eggshells when it had to talk about coaches or front offices or owners, because you always felt like he was positioning himself still to be available for a job. And sure enough, he took the job. You know what I mean? So I haven't seen it. Maybe some of you out there can send me audio clips, video clips of Peyton Manning tearing into coaches, tearing into front offices. If I see that, then I will say, okay, this guy's willing to be objective. See what I'm saying? Like, I know that I look like a cheerleader for Chris Greer, right? And the front office. But then the people that say that, they don't ever repeat that I say, well, if Chris Greer wants to save his job in the future, I believe he's going to have to make a change at head coach. So how can I be a homer if I'm actually being objective that he may have hired the wrong coach and the coach may end up getting him fired now? Because I believe personnel is doing their job. I don't believe the coach is doing his job. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things that I need you to be objective. If you're going to do our job, then be objective. If you're afraid to criticize former players and coaches and all that, then you know what? And I've seen plenty of those guys. I've dealt with, actually running in this business, I've also dealt with people that wanted to work in our business, yet didn't have the guts to actually be completely objective in our business. So and let me see, I don't think I've seen any comments on the text line that says, no, he rips. Nobody has said it. You have to see it. It's a comedy about our intellectual decline with Luke Wilson. It is very much like our society now. New fans that blurt dumb crap without any backing, now hating, by the way. All right, Wyatt. I guess I got to check something out here, huh? Big O, agree with you. You need to protect Tua, build the line, draft running backs, wide receiver. Problem is, Flo wants to be Belichick 2.0, draft average backs like Gaskin, Ahmed, instead of taking blue chip players. Well, hold on, Dr. J. I don't mind Gaskin if you have a monster line. He'll become a better player. So I don't mind if you don't have to invest in a first round running back. I'm of that belief. Plenty of running backs in the history of time were drafted in the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds and were exceptional backs. So I don't believe you have to take, as we've had this conversation before, Najee Harris would do nothing here. Not with this line. So first you build the line, and I think you end up getting your whoever we can make you the running back, and you'll be better because you're behind a really good line. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm not one of those guys that, to me, the running back position is super interchangeable. I'm not. It's funny because while I'm old, okay, at 55, I'm willing to change and adjust to things that are going on. You understand? And whether it's this business that we're doing this on a digital level, or when social media came to existence, I absorbed it and I knew that I was going to need it for my business, down the line. So I've adjusted along the way with life. Well, as sports fans, we have to adjust with the way things are going, and the game's played differently now. whether it's basketball with the three-point shooting, whether it's football that it's more offense than defense. All the rules are more geared that way. The same thing. What's it called? Baseball. It's there's no more five-tool player guy that can, bunt, hit opposite fields, hit with power, all that. No. It's either you hit a home run or you strike out. Either or. That's it. That's what it is. And you have to be able to adjust with the changes of what's going on. And that's part of all of this. And you've got to be I grew up with the running back being the bell cow. So I grew up thinking, okay, you got to have Zonka, and you got to have Walter Payton, and you got to have Barry Sanders, and you got to have Emmitt Smith, and you got to have that back that you just hand it off to him over and over and over. And here's O.J. Anderson and O.J. Anderson and O.J. Anderson with the Cards, by the way, not the Giants. And so whatever, all these kind of things. Well, I've learned that in football over the years, some of you, I think, have not gotten off that trip. Oh, no, we got to have a first-round running back. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's bull. That's crap. That's as inaccurate as it gets. You suck as a front office if you're only depending on first-round running backs. Now, you go build me a line, I'll get you running backs in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds that will get you 1,000 yards with their eyes closed. And I'll use them up for 4 or 5 years, and I'll get rid of them and get another guy and get another guy. And I'll never spend on a first-round back, and I'll never give him big-time money. How do you like that, apples? Got to adjust, man. Got to adjust to how things are played. You got to pay your quarterback. You got to pay your defensive end. You got to pay your shutdown corner. You got to pay your number 1 wide receiver. Okay? You got to pay the important positions in football. Quarterback, left tackle, defensive end, number 1 wide receiver. What am I missing? Tackle, quarterback, defensive end, number 1 wide receiver, shutdown corner. That's what you pay. You don't pay running backs. And you don't draft running backs high in the draft. You draft linemen is what you draft. Okay? I'd rather you invest in a lineman and get me an average running back. I'm fine with an average. Get me my franchise quarterback. Get me my monster line. Get me my number 1 wide receiver. Get me a playmaking tight end. Get me a defense. And the running back can be all right. Those days are done, dude. You don't need Walter Payton anymore. Okay? So this whole thing, I'd rather have, we had this discussion with Omar, and I didn't even bring it up today because why? It was just like, it's clubbing seals at this point. It's so easy. He got killed with that conversation because he thought he had anything to stand on, and he retweeted over the weekend. So conversation Big O and I were having, because he tweeted out the segment, would you draft Najee Harris or Jalen Phillips? And it was like 98% of the people said Jalen Phillips, because you got to be out of your mind to pick a running back over a defensive end. You don't pick a pass rusher. You don't pick a running back over a pass rusher. What are you, crazy? You don't pick a running back over a shutdown corner. You don't pick a running back over a number 1 wide receiver. You don't pick a running back over a left tackle. And you don't pick a running back over a quarterback. So some of you out there, like my man Omar, you need to adjust to life and what the game and how it's being played now. And what the priorities need to be on your team. Running back is not one of them. Your offensive line is what's going to make your receivers better, your tight end better, your quarterback better, and your running back, no matter who it is. So that's the way I look at things. You draft line. Forget the running backs. Running backs will dime a dozen, dude. You can get those. You can get them and you can replace them. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be running backs. That's what I would say. Let's see. Joe says you don't have to have a first-round back, but Jonathan Taylor would be nice. Maybe not as good as he is with Indy, but better than Gaskin or Igbenogany. Maybe not, Joe. Maybe he gets injured here. You ever thought of that, Joe? Because he doesn't have any holes and he's going to be running into walls. You don't really realize how much superior the Colts offensive line is to Miami. Like, you have no idea. Okay? Jonathan Taylor wouldn't be a shadow of what he is with the Colts. Not even close here. In fact, I don't believe Jonathan Taylor can finish a season here. I think he'll end up injured. Didn't he have a bunch of injuries when he was in college? I thought that's how. Let me see. Wasn't he the kid that had injuries in college? Let me see something here. Let me check. I don't know why I keep thinking that that's what he was. He, let's see. Where are we at here? Taylor suffered a leg injury during Wisconsin game against Illinois, a quad strain. Then he had a pedal ankle sprain pulled, dealt with a minor ankle injury and a knee strain, grade 1. Nope, not major injury. He's not the one. There was one guy coming out of college that year with him. I got him confused with Taylor. There's another guy that I didn't like because of injury, and I think it was more serious than this because I think it was like a torn knee injury. I forgot which one it is. I got to look it up now. But Jonathan Taylor may end up injured with us. You know what I'm saying? Najee Harris could end up injured with us. I wouldn't want to put a good running back. I wouldn't want to spend a first round pick behind this coach and line. Because I don't blame these guys. I don't believe that these offensive linemen are this bad. I believe they need better coaching. But you draft Jonathan Taylor and he blows out his knee because he has a crappy line. Then we're blaming the front office and blaming Jonathan Taylor or whatever. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just that, your coach can't get good offensive coaches. I saw a guy earlier, and there's always a listener that does this every single time. Well, Flo's a young coach. Give him time to figure it out. And it's like, well, he's had 3 years to figure out the offensive coaches and 7 changes. Like, how much more? What? For those of you out there, by the way, that want to show patience with Flo, and you think he's some kind of, great coach here now, okay? So how much time do you give him to figure out offensive coaches? I'm just wondering. Well, what is the timetable for a person that's made 7 changes at 2 positions? Can please somebody tell me what the timetable is for that? For those of you that want to be incredibly patient with Flo, 3 years now, he can't find his offensive coaches. How much more time does he get? In your eyes, for those of you, I've given up on him. He can't find coaches. That's why I don't want him around anymore. Okay? You know what? As a young coach, I can live with maybe him getting better at challenges. I can live with him maybe learning how to relate to people better down the line. Maybe he'll learn. Although it took Tom Coughlin like 60 years before he changed, but it helped him down the stretch. But still, I have no hope for him as coach and finding coaches. So what is the timetable for those of you out there that want to be Mr. and Mrs. Patient? What is the timetable? How many more seasons do you give a coach to be able to find a coaching staff? Okay. All right. Hour number 3 is next.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Hey, Big O, protect your home the way we do with Sloman's Home Security, folks. And if you want some great news, how about this? A free doorbell camera. That's right. The first 40 Big O listeners who dial 1-800-ALARM-ME will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman's Shield. And that's not all, folks. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners to call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Keep your family safe like we do here in the Alzigari family. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Let me tell you something. Some of you out there, radically, I love you. But, dude, you say some really, really just inaccurate crap that you just throw out there. Flores had the coaches figured out, then Gailey was forced on him. Radically, bro. Dude, stop saying stupid-ass shit that you have no idea what you're talking about. Radically, he fired an offensive line coach that wanted to play Dieter at center a couple of years ago. Okay? Nobody forced Gailey on him. He needed an offensive coach. He fired his own. He needed help. Stop making shit up, dude. You have no insight whatsoever. You don't know anything, and you just spew stupid stuff out there, bro. that has nothing to do with what's going on, and you invent crap. The guy fired an offensive line coach that wanted to play Dieter at center. Where does Dieter play now? I don't know what it is, bro. You just like make up shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. And what was the other one? Kobe says, damn, Big O, my first disagreement with you. If Gaskin can get 500-yard with this line, Taylor gets that plus some more. You're basically saying he's as good as Taylor if he had the line. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Gaskin is playing with his life every week, and he's lucky to be healthy. That's what I'm saying. So if you have Taylor here, he might end up injured. That's my point. I wouldn't invest on any pick right now until I get the line fixed. I'm not investing a first-round pick on a running back when this line sucks. That's my point. Everyone is in danger. Najee Harris right now maybe is on the IR if he's playing here with the Miami Dolphins. Jonathan Taylor might be on the IR. The fact that Gaskin isn't is a miracle. That's my point. I would never make an investment on a running back right now until I get an offensive line coach, I fix this line, and then when I fix this line, then I'm bringing it in. Look, I've talked about this before. There's a part of me that the front office says, we got to fix the quarterback. We got to fix the offensive line. We got to get all this straightened out. Let's not make a high investment on a running back right now. Let's wait till we actually get our line fixed. So when we do make an investment on a running back, maybe it's in the second round or something, that kid comes in and he's not taking a beating right away. Because you think about it, if you would have spent the first round pick in any of the first couple of years here, that running back is taking a punishment, possibly getting injured. So that's my point. And to think that anybody is going to change the dynamics of the offense right now, unless you're Barry Sanders, as I've said many times, because there's only a couple of those kind of freaks that can make up for no blocking, and Barry's that guy. Barry could lose 5 yards and on the next play gain 67. Because he was so dynamic. He could change directions at the drop of a dime. He could turn the field on you so quickly. He was a freak of all freaks. Najee Harris is not that, and neither is Jonathan Taylor. And they're terrific running backs. I love them both. I got no problem with either guy. But the bottom line is, behind this line, you're done. You're only playing with fire, is my point. So I don't care who it is. It's not a good thing to put a running back right now. It's not smart to make a high investment on a running back behind this garbage coaching and line. Okay? Irving says, radically, Flores did fire his most experienced O-line coach in 2019, just a few training camp sessions in, when he suggested to Flores that Dieter was not ready to play at center when he drafted him at 19. But of course, remember, Flores knows offensive line more than the O-line coaches. He knows offense more than the offensive coaches. He knows the special teams more than all the special teams coaches. He knows drafting better than anybody in the front office. Okay, he knows about owning a football team more than anyone else also. In fact, I've caught Flores going down and telling the boys that do all the landscaping how to actually fix that too. Flores knows it all. Just ask him. He'll tell you. Let's see. What else do we have here? Ricky Williams was great, but do you guys remember how many great running backs played in the same era? LaDainian Tomlinson, Priest Holmes, Jamal Lewis, Curtis Martin. You don't need a running back early in the first. Yeah, No, you don't. If you have a great line, you don't need a running back in the first round. Go spend your first round pick again on a quarterback, on a left tackle, on a shutdown corner, on a number one wide. Okay. That go spend your first round pick on that. All right. See, he spent his first round picks this year on a number one wide receiver and a pass rusher. Okay. And the year before, he tried to get a tackle. That didn't work out. Got the corner. We'll see if Noah ever plays. And got the quarterback. Wow. Okay. All right. Kind of doing the things that we're talking about. Those are the positions. Whether you hit or miss, it is what it is. Wyatt says, I'm telling you, Dieter is going to be good. And if we had Callahan or like, our O-line would be talked about wouldn't be talked about as a bottom of the turtle tank line. Wyatt, sir, we logic is something that we have trouble with here, because people sometimes they have trouble understanding logic. And, you're just bringing logic to the table. And if you had a great offensive line coach, they would be much better. Yeah. Yeah. That just makes too much sense, Wyatt. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very intelligent comment. I don't know if some people can handle that right now, Wyatt. There are brains exploding right now as we speak right now. Yes, brains are exploding. The truth will set you free. Oh, what are your thoughts on Get Back? I haven't finished it yet. Watch the first couple episodes. Give me time here, but I love what I'm seeing. I love the. How I've been excited about rebuilds, and I love development, and like whether it's the Dolphins from the beginning of this whole rebuild, and then even the Heat, right? Ira's talking about the injuries. I'm like, well, this is a great time to develop these young players and find out who can play and who can, all that kind of stuff. So I love the art of making music, because it's a gift that I'll never possess. I can't understand. I can't comprehend. You know what I mean? I can only admire as a music aficionado that I am, and how much I admire the talent that musicians have to make music. Just watching Joe Bonamassa last night, and how not only how good he is, but how creative he is playing guitar, and the feel he has for the instrument. It's just sick. You know what I mean? It's just a blessing of a skill. And so it is fun to watch the art of making music and watching those guys create it and bounce it off each other and all that. That part is actually really, really cool. And to think about it, what kind of bands would do that nowadays? They would film the whole process of creating the songs and performing the songs for the first time in front of the public, and also allowing you into the process which is a really, what would I call, a personal moment for all musicians, how they go about their craft. You know what I mean? Because everybody's different. And while you're watching them collaborate together, one of the things that I was thinking of while I'm watching the Beatles together, the Smiths were completely apart. Where Johnny Marr would write the music, get it all done, and then he'd hand it off to Morrissey, and then Morrissey would go somewhere in a room somewhere and hear the music and then write the lyrics to the music. It's just a different process, instead of what you're watching there, that it's a complete collab of everybody getting together and creating. Now, you also have to understand this while you're watching, and I was explaining this to my daughter, because young people, and there's a tendency of it. And I think I think you run into some other people too in the process. They'll tell you the Beatles are overrated. And that infuriates me because when something doesn't exist, it can't be overrated. It has to be absolutely amazing, stupendous, magical, whatever adjective you want to use to describe it. Do you know why? Because it didn't exist. And you just set the blueprint for rock and pop music because that's what the Beatles did. They created the kind of music that all of a sudden became mainstream. They created the kind of rock that then influenced hundreds of bands right after. And from Get Back to Hey Jude to all that kind of stuff, they're pioneering, baby. You know, it's like Black Sabbath pioneering in heavy metal. It's Kraftwerk pioneering in electronic music. When you're doing something for the first time and you're the Beach Boys and the surf sound comes from you, you know what I'm saying? You're doing something that you started a whole genre of music. So that has to be given it has to be put in proper context in the history of music of why it means so much. Because what Elvis Presley did, nobody did before. And then that influenced and took it to another level. And then the Beatles took it to another level. And what Jimi Hendrix did with an electric guitar, nobody was doing. And so then he took it to another level and influenced so many others. So when somebody tells you just because it's old doesn't mean it's overrated, it means it's genius because it's the beginning of everything for that, whatever it is that we're talking about. So while the Model T may be a car that cannot be compared to a Tesla, you still have to marvel at the fact that somebody made a car out of nothing. They had that vision. So the Model T is marvelous because for it to come out of your mind and it's never been created before, and then it becomes reality. I can't say enough about an accomplishment like that. None of us can, because it is the start of whatever we're talking about it in life, music, whatever. So, you know, when I told my daughter that, she kind of like was, okay, all right, I understand what you're saying. You know, because you have to give them some credit. Robert Smith is a musical genius. Malkowick says, you are correct, sir. What am I going to do? Argue with you? And Robert Smith is from The Cure, for those of you that may not be, you know, into the music. But Robert Smith is everything for The Cure. I mean, he's had several band members over the years. Just recently lost their bassist. He apparently had a disagreement with Robert and stepped away, who's been the bassist for a long, long time. A lot of energy on stage, too, with him. He's terrific. But, yes, he is amazing. Yes, Robert Smith is just absolutely awesome. Did Yoko Ono think she sounded good singing? Oh, yeah, that part. Yeah, I think she's delusional. Anderson knew it. He just tried to piss off the group. Yeah, it's just Yoko just rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Just like she has nothing to do with the whole thing. But hey, man, love it'll do a number on you. It'll blind you. And what are you going to do? Billy Batson says, Big O, you have to love, you just need to scale a practice on your instrument of choice. Learn 3 chords, 1, 4, 5, and you're on your way. Well, Billy, maybe you, because you're gifted, my friend. But that is, not that easy for a guy like me. Bless you, my brother, if you can do it. It's awesome. I wish it was that easy for me. I would love it. I like Kinley at offensive guard better than Austin Jackson. We need to upgrade both our tackle positions and have Eichenberg as a swing tackle. Irving doesn't listen at all. Irving already gave up on everybody. Let's see. Let's see. DP says all these great artists were influenced by black musicians like Chuck Berry, Little Richard. Yep. And Robert Johnson. Yes. You are correct, sir. That's how it goes. But while they were influenced, they then created their own genre of music, right? Because Barry's music is not the same as the Beatles' music, right? It's completely different. So that's where things change. But yes, you're correct. Everybody gets influenced by somebody else. But what does it lead that influence to be? You understand? Nirvana was influenced by many people, but they did create a grunge sound that then, got a life of its own, right? So they have to be Nirvana has to be credited for helping to create that grunge sound. It's a different form of rock, right? So whether you're talking about Chuck Berry or you're talking about Elvis Presley or you're talking about the Beatles, right? You're talking about different forms of rock. And then they became a little bit more where, Chuck Berry was more rock and blues and Elvis was more rock, blues, and country, right? So it's kind of it all kind of, it intertwines, but then other roads are created from it. And then they influence others go into different directions. So yeah, there's no doubt you are correct, sir, because that's where the base of all music pretty much comes from. Let's see, what else do we have here? Our border guards have been alerted, Irving. Okay, I don't know what that means. Nirvana was the end of rock and roll and the beginning of that genre. Nirvana was. Yes. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. I agree. Avalanche beat the Panthers last night 3-2. Bob with 23 saves. They are back in action, by the way, on Tuesday. Heat, great win against the Bulls on Saturday, man. That was nice to see a lot of the young guys. Duncan with 26 points, Dedmon 20 and 12. I love to see, that's the Lowry I want to see, because Lowry can't carry a team offensively. But when you see him running the floor the way he did, 14 assists, that was absolutely beautiful yesterday, or Saturday, that is. KZ Okpala, man, 10 points, 4 rebounds, a block, 28 minutes. I give that kid a lot of credit. We gotta give KZ a little love, okay? Because you think about this, it's his 3rd year. You haven't made an impact. You've been kind of a disaster. You have every reason to lose faith in yourself. You have not really a reason to tune out, because that's a lack of professionalism, but it's understandable in a way if you've kind of lost some confidence and you've kind of given up a little bit, or you've given up on the situation. You don't think you're going to make it there, whatever. There's a lot of negative things that could flow in your mind. And I got to give him credit, because he has stayed prepared. Whether it works out or it doesn't for him, it's not like he walks into a game and he looks like he's completely out of concentration and out of shape. Or no. The kid's in shape. The kid's playing hard. He just hasn't been good for him. He just hasn't strung together performances that are good. Now he's strung a couple of performances together. Again, we're all different in life, man. Some of us at 14 know exactly what we want to be. And at 18, you're in school and you're studying what you want to be, or you go right into the profession you want to be, fine. Some kids at 17, they don't know. Some kids at 20, they don't know. Some kids at 24, they're still trying, or men and women are still trying to figure out what direction in life they want to go. You know what I mean? So everybody grows differently. And you might have been a disaster at 17 or 18 or 19 because you just didn't know what the hell you were good at and where you belong in life. But somehow or another, you found your way at 23. Some people find their way at 16. We're all different. We all learn at a different pace. We all get it. We all get life at a different pace, right? Maybe this is the time for KZ Okpala. That's what I'm hoping. And what gives me hope, that is what I just told you. He stayed ready. He stayed in shape. Kid hustles. So it's not like you watch him and you're like, Whiteside. Like Whiteside would do some stupid stuff that you would look at and go, damn, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? This kid just hasn't played well. And the last couple of outings have been pretty good. Who knows? Again, it's not like the Heat can't find talent. They can find it. But it's also part of the trip is developing it, which is what we're talking about with the Dolphins. Like, who is it? DP, right? He thinks all the linemen suck and everybody else is developing. So, yeah, no, they were terrible in developing. No. They're terrible in their coaching because a couple of those guys are going to be good. He can find talent and they can develop talent. So now let's see. Maybe they reached KZ a little late. But late is better than never, man. It's a good thing. Let's see what else. Yeah, Big O, you deserve the special limited edition Island Boys Christmas album. Check your mailbox. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Big Drip. Appreciate Big Drip. Music sucks today, because it stopped being art and became a money game. Greed ruins everything. Mob Rule, you should have been last night at Joe Bonamassa. That don't suck. All right. That certainly doesn't suck. By the way, folks, if you need a roof, please call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises, one of our proud sponsors. They've been serving South Florida for over 25 years. AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau, folks. They use top quality grade materials from the best manufacturers. They specialize in all types of roofs. All right, folks. All work is fully guaranteed with customers' complete satisfaction, licensed and insured, highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. So call Tommy B. Butts. Tell him that Big O sent you. So if you've got a roof leak, you're not happy with your roof now, it's falling apart, it needs repair, or maybe you need to replace the whole thing, call him, man. Call Tommy B. Butts right now, 954-735-9826. See it right there. See the number, 954-735-9826. Tommy, ask for Tommy, the owner. I'll put him on there and tell him that Big O sent you. And trust me, they are great people, man. Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises. Call him, baby. Oh, I'm in my 40s, and I learned to play the guitar over the last year. The first month is tough. But if you can get by that and learn 6 chords, you'll be able to play 4,000 songs. You can do it. Really? Wow. If I do that, my wife may end up divorcing me. You know that, right? Because, dude, I'm a metalhead. I'm a rocker. I mean, I love all genres of music, don't get me wrong, but obviously the the center of my musical universe is rock and metal, okay? I'm talking about hard rock and metal. Um, you know my crazy ass, right? If I end up learning how to play a guitar, you know what I'm going to end up doing, right? I'm going to end up buying a Marshall stack. And then I'm just going to be jamming like the neighborhood's going to hate me. My wife is going to like divorce me. My dogs are just going to like, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? So that's I do fear that, you know, because knowing my crazy ass, I would go buy a Marshall stack just because it's like the coolest thing in the world to have a Marshall stack. You know what I'm saying? And just, rip it, man. It'd be trouble for my ass, that's for sure. I can tell you that. Let's see. What else do we have? DP says, I brought up how you criticize the O-line incessantly, yet praise Greer. I have been complimenting the improvement line ever since Brissett's last game. The line hasn't done much, bro. Please, don't make it what it isn't. All right. The line isn't improving much at all. I love hard rock and metal too, but I just started playing more blues and I love it. Blues are so fun in a guitar. Hey, last night, Joe Bonamassa, man. I mean, that was just awesome. Awesome. What was the name of the song he opened up with last night? Let me see if I can find it here. Last night, he opened up with Evil Mama. And the guitar solo in Evil Mama was just sick, dude. Sick. And obviously he played my favorite song, which is the Ballad of John Henry. I think he's played that song every time I've seen him. I haven't seen him a ton. I think like 4 times, maybe 5. I think I've seen him, and every time he's played the Ballad of John Henry, pretty much. Big O, it's great that half of my day is already done after listening to the show. Show mornings. It makes my day go so much easier. Thank you, Kevin. That's very nice of you, man. Mob Rule says, yes, Ross, the O-line is not developing the players, nor has the O-line coach or the one before that. I know. It's inappropriate for you all to be talking about Wilson's mom like this. O'Shea, she puts herself out there, dude. So what do you want me to do? You know? She's hot, man. We call O'Shea, we call it like we see it here. Okay? She's a smoke show. Sorry. I'm sorry if it bothers you, man, but Zach Wilson's mom is a smoke show. Okay? So what do you want me to do? And she puts herself out there, you know? Bathing suits, all kinds of stuff, dancing, politically, obviously, she does all kinds of stuff. So she's not shy, and she's like some women that know they're hot, and that's why they're showing you that they know they're hot. You know what I'm saying? I think we've all met those kind of women in the past, right? Some women that know they're good looking and they're very open to displaying how good looking they are. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Zach Wilson's mom lacks any confidence whatsoever on showing off her looks. Okay. Some women want you to talk about them. That's why they act the way they act. Okay? If not, they wouldn't throw themselves out there like that. Dougie Fresh says, about Get Back, one underrated part of the band that was profound in the film was how well they listened to one another and surrounded each idea with a spirit of hope. I know, right? Until Yoko screwed it all up. She just rubs me the wrong way. I see her on that thing, and it's like, ugh. Big old Rick Beto has your taste in music. He does interviews with rock bands, and he teaches music theory. All right, Beto. I will remember that name. Guess is it on YouTube? What are your thoughts on Perfect Circle, the band? They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I enjoy Perfect Circle. They're all right. I also like The Circle with Sammy Hagar. I like that one a lot. No, but Perfect Circle's not bad. I've heard them. Never seen Wilson's mom. Is she really as advertised? Well, let's do it in honor of O'Shea, that is uncomfortable with this since we love O'Shea and we figure we're gonna bug him with this. We might as well let's see show Mrs. Zach Wilson. Let me see. I got a bunch of pictures here, but I'm trying to find something that kind of shows her. Let me see. Okay. What do we have here? Okay. Well, I mean, this is not a bad picture of her. Here, let's share. Let's share a little shelter, as my man would say. See, here you go. That's Zach Wilson's mom. Okay. I gotta find some other ones. She's good looking, man. She's a good looking woman. What do you want me to tell you? She's on social media like all the time. All the time. She is a social media butterfly. She just put up a video too. Apparently, let me see if I can pull up that video that she was dancing, or was it a TikTok? It might have been a TikTok, actually. Yeah, I think it might have been a TikTok. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There's the video. I found it on Twitter. Let me see. She's there with two other girls. I think one is Zach's girlfriend, and then she's with them. But again, you know what? I can't. They're just pictures. They're still pictures. Yeah. I don't see the video. It's a video where she's basically telling people to kiss her ass. And meanwhile, Morris doesn't want us talking about her. It's so funny that he's bothered by that. That's funny. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. All right. What else do we have here to show you guys? Oh, by the way, you guys saw Urban Meyer. So Urban Meyer loses over the weekend to the Titans. Dominate them. And there are stories now that Urban Meyer is losing the locker room and that he called his assistant coaches losers, and he had it out with Marvin Jones, the wide receiver, and He left the building. He had to be convinced to come back and this and that. So this weekend, he got throttled by the Titans. So here's the handshake between Herb and Mike Vrabel, which it's just, it doesn't get. Can we look at this? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. He barely looks at him. It's like a passing handshake. I'm just so tired of getting my ass kicked in this business. I really suck. I've lost it all. I listen. I hope Mike at least washed his hands because he has no idea where those fingers have been. You know what I'm saying? But that is, I mean, I got to tell you something. I am loving every second of Urban Meyer's failure. I am loving every second of Urban Meyer being thoroughly embarrassed because you got to remember, while he's doing this, he's also ruined every other chance he ever could have to go back to college now. Because after, slippery fingers, that's it. No college is going to hire you now. And listen, Ohio State still hired this lowlife after he had like 30 arrests at Georgia. At Florida. Sorry, Georgia, I insulted you. You guys need to be just called chokers like you are. I'm sorry. Sorry, Georgia. You're sorry, Georgia. But anyway, the Gators, he had like 30 arrests while he was there. Maybe like 33, I think was the number. So it was even over 30. So this clown, this is the biggest phony in the history of college football. Okay, this is the crap that, in Ohio State, he was protecting one of his coaches that was beating his wife or girlfriend. I forgot what she was, a poor woman. Being intimidated by the school. Shelley, knowing all the information. She's another winner right there with Herb. But watching him get thoroughly embarrassed, I got to tell you something. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. It is so beautiful to watch. I can't get enough of him. And then he has a reporter, because their offensive line is also getting their asses kicked. So I want you to listen to this reporter asking Urban Meyer about his O-line. I'm going to take my picture out. Do me a favor, Sean, take the Pallet Rack City out and take my picture out now. We're going to play this Urban Meyer cut. All right, you're going to laugh as they ask him about his O-line. All right, ready? Here we go.
You've been telling us all year that you have faith in that offensive line. They're getting their ass kicked every week. Like, what's going on there? They're getting paid a lot of money to be better than what they've been.
Yeah.
You've been telling us all year that you have faith in that offensive line. They're getting their ass kicked every week. Like, what's going on there? They're getting paid a lot of money to be better than what they've been.
Yeah.
You've been telling us all year that you have.
Yeah. I got nothing else to say. And the way the reporter phrased it, like they're getting their ass kicked. Oh, man. We got to, you know what? I'm going to save that question and see if we can get one of the guys to ask. The problem is you're winning 5 in a row right now. Even though the O-line does get their ass kicked every week, it is a legitimate question you can ask Flo every week. You can ask him this, but I guess maybe next year when they lose, because I'm not no losses for the rest of the year. But if they lose again, then, and if they actually have Flo next year, then we got to get somebody to ask Flo that question, just like that. That was fantastic. I'm telling you, nobody is enjoying Urban Meyer's failures more than me. I mean, I can't stand this guy. Those of you that have been around, I told you the story. They put me on ESPNU once, and it was the last time I was on, first and last. And so they're tied with college football. So they really can't go ripping things. You know what I mean? Then don't put me on. I don't play that game. So they happen to put me on the day that he gets busted for covering up the loser that was beating his wife or girlfriend. I forgot what she is, unfortunately. And obviously I laid into Urban and they lost their minds over at ESPNU. And I said, well, hey, man, if you want somebody with pom-poms, you go put somebody else on the air. I'm going to call it like I see it, and he is what he is, and he's a scumbag. He's been a scumbag his entire life. Nothing has changed about Urban Meyer. That guy's a lowlife, always been a lowlife, and he deserves everything that he's getting right now. And more. A lot more. And I'm glad that stuff is coming out about how he treats his assistant coaches and treats human beings and how he doesn't really care about women, because obviously protecting that scumbag at Ohio State, that shows you everything you need to know. Big O, Wilson's mom needs to be introduced to the amoeba defense. You don't want to hurt the woman, bro. What's wrong with you? Come on. Jacksonville has a long, long way to go. Well, Jacksonville ain't never going to get there, my brother. Not like that. And they're going to have to fire this guy at the end of the year. Wyatt says, my all-time band, give or take, the Butthole Surfers. That's how I found Black Moth Tobacco and saw them live in Asheville, and was engulfed in trippiness and danced like a fire dancer. And I never dance, LOL. The Butthole Surfers. Wow, that's classic. So you weren't into the Dead Kennedys? Yeah, right? If you listen to the Butthole Surfers, you got to be into the Dead Kennedys, right? Meyer is a mercenary like Parcells. Anyone that hires him deserves their fate. That is true. The problem is it's paid off for 2 schools, so that's why they hire him. I wasn't necessarily a fan of it, but I'm glad that it's going exactly as planned. I will say that. There's a part of me that has to admit it, ladies and gentlemen. I am glad. Now, I will tell you something that we've talked about over the last couple of years. Unfortunately, I was hoping that I would be wrong, and I would always say it because he's such a terrific young man. You want him to succeed. In a way, you know what? I don't have personally anything against Ryan Tannehill. I think Tannehill is a terrific young man. I wish I was wrong that he was going to be a franchise quarterback, because he's a good kid. He's a good human being. May not be very smart when it comes to knee injuries, because he thinks they magically, repair themselves. But not a hater of Ryan Tannehill as a human being. It's hard not to root for the human being, because he's a good dude, just like Lamar Jackson. Really good dude. But the same as Ryan, I've never believed that Lamar Jackson would ever turn into a franchise quarterback. And I've explained it over and over again. He is a freak of a talent. And I understand when you have freaks like this, what you do with freaks like this, right? You try to make it work. And God bless the Ravens. They have, committed to the young man and built the offense the right way around him to try to succeed. But as I've told you over the years, that unless he learns how to be a real passer, he will never survive, and eventually he will break down. Well, yesterday he suffered another injury. He has suffered several injuries now, and I'm seeing a guy that it looks to me like his body is finally starting to give in to all the punishment he has taken. And let me explain something to you, what's gone on with Lamar Jackson. Okay. He has 16 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions. So he has been mediocre this year. He is a mediocre passer. He's not an accurate passer. So his sack numbers, let me run them through you from year one on. 16, 23, 29, and now 38. And 38, and he hasn't played a whole season because he's missed a couple games. And looks like he may miss, he missed most of this game yesterday. And he probably will miss next week. But he already has 38. 9 more than the year before, with a few games more to go. So his pocket presence is nowhere to be found. His accuracy is, forget about what percentage it says there. I think he throws for 64%, but he only throws a couple of passes. He can't throw the whole tree, and he is an athlete, so he will freak you out and he will impress you like a lot of athletes that have played this game, whether it's Michael Vick, whether it's Randall, Randall Cunningham too, Ryan Tannehill. Guys like this, they're always going to be able to make some throws because they're athletes, but they're not quarterbacks. His interceptions from year one on, 3, 6, 9, and now 13, and he isn't done yet. He'll throw a few more before the season's over. So you look at it, he really he is regressing, no matter what anybody tells you, right? And he really has never gotten to the point that he can make a living from the pocket. If he doesn't use his legs, he cannot be a quarterback in the NFL because he can't make decisions and passes from the pocket. Those are the facts. And yesterday, watching him get tackled, whatever it was, like 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and that's where he hurt his ankle on that tackle. I'm watching a young man that is slowly but surely kind of breaking down because he weighs under 200 pounds. And if you're going to take more and more of a beating and more hits as time goes on, remember, a quarterback should be taking less hits as time goes on, because as time goes on, your knowledge grows. Your awareness of defenses grows. So you should know exactly what's coming. So you should know that you have to get rid of the football. So it should be rare that you get hit because you have to be surprised in order to get hit. Well, that's not happening for Lamar. Lamar is getting hit more and more and more. And people are figuring him out more and more and more. You know what I mean? It's hard to catch the chicken because Rocky couldn't catch the chicken the first time. And that's what the NFL is. You first put Lamar Jackson in there, and he's the chicken, and everybody's Rocky. But we have now seen the sequel take place. Rocky 2's taking place now. And guess what's happening now? All of a sudden now, Rocky's catching the chicken. Okay? I don't mean by Rocky 2. I mean by like the second go-around of Rocky going after the chicken. And so now you've got NFL players catching the chicken. And they're knocking the hell out of the chicken. I'm not calling Lamar a chicken. It's just a reference of the analogy, just in case. So nobody, far from chicken, that dude. That dude's as brave as they come to play the game he plays. But we're watching a guy that, unfortunately, if something drastic doesn't happen in the next year or two, things are going to get uglier and uglier for Lamar Jackson if he doesn't learn how to pass from that pocket. And by the way, that's not going to happen. He hasn't learned now. He's never going to be a pocket passer ever in his life. All right? It's just the way it is. It's just who he is. It doesn't matter. But he is such a great talent that he has been a mismatch at times for teams. He's not the answer because obviously when you get to the playoffs, the good teams are there, the good defenses, and he flops every time because he can't pass. But watching him yesterday, and then when I started to look at the numbers this morning, what I've been talking about for several years with him, it is unfortunately coming to fruition. And unfortunately, I am going to end up being right here on this one. He will eventually break down and will not be able to be a quarterback in this league. I don't look forward to that day, but that day, unfortunately, is that Haloti Nada RG3 day is coming because he hasn't learned how to pass from the pocket consistently and accurately. Big O, what do you think about Manny Diaz being hired as defensive coordinator at Penn State? You know what? Now that I think about it, and I don't know how many of you saw, they posted the video. Penn State posted the video, not Manny, but Penn State. They filmed Manny going over, going through the tunnel and walking out onto the field. And so there you go. All right, let me take that out. So I'm happy for him, man. You know, look, I'm glad you brought up the Manny thing because I laugh at people that say, well, O was a big supporter of Flo, and now he doesn't want him anymore. What a flip-flopper. Well, no, it's called getting information. See, I don't understand. So some of you, when you make a mistake, do you just continue to make the mistake? Is that what you do? Is that how some of you run your lives? That if you made a mistake, you're just going to continue? So if you are driving your car into a little bit of a puddle, but all of a sudden you realize that the puddle is a lot deeper, you're going to continue to drive into that puddle? I'm just wondering. So I wanted Manny Diaz as much as anybody out there to be the coach of the Canes. I loved him just like a lot of you out there as the defensive coordinator. I love the fire. I love the energy. I love all that stuff. Miami guy, understood the Miami program, all that. And to a certain extent, I had the silly notion, just like some of you out there, oh, dude, I don't know how long Rick's going to stay, but we're going to end up losing Manny, right? So then Manny ends up getting the job at Temple, and then Rick decides to leave. So I was in the same panic mode as all of you out there. Loved what Manny did as a defensive coordinator. And I wanted him as the head coach because I didn't know who else they were going to hire. They're not going to spend. They never do until now. And so I wanted Manny also. Well, by the end of the first year of Manny being a head coach, I no longer wanted Manny anymore as the head coach. So am I supposed to then not like an unorganized team constantly? So at the end of the first year, am I supposed to say, oh, no, Manny's the perfect guy. No, I'm staying with Manny. Because that's how some of you idiots treat the whole thing about Flo. So after the first year, I assessed what I saw, and I didn't like what I saw as Manny as a head coach. Didn't like what I saw in year 2, so I wasn't wrong in year 1 after my assessment. And in year 3, I certainly wasn't wrong after watching years 1 and 2 and my assessment that I was wrong for wanting Manny. Same thing with Flo. Love what I saw early from Flo, but I've put together all of these things, all of these coaches that he fires, all of the veteran players that he eliminates. He has no coaches that can question him. He has trouble getting along with people. He can't hire coaches. These are things that I'm seeing. He made a lot of stupid mistakes. That's why they're 1-7 here at the beginning of the year. So I've changed my mind. I'm not a big believer in flow anymore. If you can't build a staff, you can't be a head coach. So it's not a matter of flip-flopping. It's you gather information, and then you have to reassess if you're right or wrong. You married the woman, right? She doesn't clean the house. She doesn't make love to you. She cheats on you. So you found this out now after the first year. Are you staying with her? I'm sorry. You made a mistake. Are you not divorcing her? You took a job. Well, okay. The owner steals from you, steals from your sponsors, doesn't treat the employees right, doesn't pay them on time. Do you stay in the business or do you leave? You make a mistake, you have to be smart enough to understand the mistake you made to correct it, right? It's kind of what it is. So with Manny, I made a mistake. I was like a lot of fans. I thought he was the right guy. Like a lot of people in the history of time and whatever teams you follow. There are certain coaches you like and you think they're the right guy, and they don't end up being the right guy. So Manny looks like he's a defensive coordinator, not a head coach. Is there anything wrong with that? Not at all. So you know what? You know what I say? God bless Manny, bro. Knock yourself out, dude. I hope you do a great job at Penn State. I hope everything goes well for him and his family from here on out. That's all. But as for the University of Miami head coaching position, unfortunately, I was wrong. Manny wasn't the right fit. And there's nothing wrong with that. You move on. I wish him the best. I'm happy he got a really good gig, by the way. Penn State has great recruits. They've always had talent. They've always had linebackers for the history of time. Okay? Don't remind me of the Penn State linebacker that intercepted Vinny Testaverde. Anyway, yeah, no, I have not recovered from that. I'll never recover from that Penn State loss. Never. I'll never recover from that Penn State loss. Some of the dumbest coaching I've ever seen in my life by Jimmy Johnson. Some of the stupidest coaching I've ever seen in my life by Jimmy Johnson. The only thing more dumb than Jimmy in that national championship game was Pete Carroll not giving it to Marshawn Lynch. But Jimmy's close. Jimmy's really, really close. He had a boneheaded, choking quarterback in Vinny Testaverde that threw 4 interceptions the year before in the Sugar Bowl. So he just kept him and allowed him to continue to pass and intercept 5 times. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so as I digress in all of this, the Penn State thing, it just rage. Anyway, I'm happy for Manny. I wish him the best. No ill will, no bad feelings towards him. I don't think he's a bad dude. I think Manny Diaz is a good dude. I think Manny Diaz is a good coach overall, defensive coach. I think he's where he needs to be as a defensive coordinator. Maybe Manny can be a head coach down the line with more experience, but he was really young when he got this opportunity, and he clearly wasn't ready for it. But I wish him the best. I got nothing against Manny, man. I really don't. Let's see. What else? Big O, B-Flow is a defensive guru genius, pal. Who cares if he made mistakes? All first-time coaches do. Belichick got fired first time around, pal. Yeah, no, and Wanstead was a defensive guy, too. How'd that work out for the offense? And Jimmy Johnson was a defensive guy. How did that work out all those years on offense? Yeah, no, I know, my brother. Yeah, it's what's happening now never happened before, my brother. and everybody else figured it out, right? Because Wanstead did figure out the offense, right? So we didn't watch Jason Taylor get old and Zach Thomas and Sam Madison and Pat Surtain, right? Right, my man? Is that how it went here? Right? And we fixed the offense also, and we didn't watch Cam Wake get old. So no, you're right. You're right, dude. You are so right, T-Bone. I mean, let's give Flo a few more years. He's only had 3 years. He's made only 7 changes in 3 years. It's only Jalen Phillips' first year. He's not going to get old on us yet. So you're right, bro. Let's give Flo another 3-4 years to find an offensive coordinator, a quarterbacks coach, and an offensive line coach. Okay. So T-Bone wants to give B-Flo a few more years to find offensive coaches because, he's sure, just like Wanstead and Jimmy Johnson, he's positive that he'll fix the offense just like Dave Wanstead did, just like Jimmy Johnson did. Yeah. No, you're right, T-Bone. I mean, it's never happened here before. We've never had that problem that the coach can't figure out the offense. You're right, dude. Yeah. Even with Marino, we couldn't figure out the offense. Yeah. It's just, luck of the draw thing, just that's something that's only that's an aberration. It's an aberration throughout the entire Cam Wake tenure. It's an aberration throughout Zach and Jason. It's just a freak thing, dude. I got you, T-Bone. We'll hang in there, bro. We'll hang in there with B-Flo. We'll give him a few more years to find offensive coaches. Love it. NorCal says, it cracks me up when people call you pal. Big O, I'm willing to give B-Flo 10 more weeks, pal. 4 this year, 6 the next, pal. Wyatt says, I'd shut my mom down, LOL. Was his mom known before Zach Wilson was drafted? Yeah, she was known over there at BYU. It smacks of desperate. Look at me. I have the attention too, but it's a sign of the times. Exactly. Remember, she's a young mother. So she's probably a millennial. So she grew up in this era of me, and look at me and all that. And again, she knows she's hot. Okay. All right. Let's just be honest. All right. This happens with men and women. All right. There are certain men and there are certain women that they know they're good looking and they want to show off that they're good looking. You get my drift? So she is more than willing to put herself out there. NorCal says, I'm about to puff, give, pal. Big O, I get that you don't like. No, wait a minute. All right. First of all, it's not that I don't like him. Okay. I don't think he can be a head coach. You can't build a staff. You can't be a head coach. It's not that I don't like him. I don't know the man to like or hate him or anything like that. So it's not a personal thing. It's a professional thing. He can't be a head coach. You can't build a staff. You can't be a head coach. Pretty simple. That's it. Nothing else. I've actually said that if he could build a staff, I would actually tolerate some of the other things that he can't do, that maybe he can learn to be better. But you can't learn. Okay? That's the dumbest thing that some of you put out there. Well, I'm willing to let him learn. No, you don't learn how to find coaches. You either know how to find coaches and can find coaches. You don't learn. Okay? Do you have the Rolodex or do you not have the Rolodex? Simple. Not about learning. You can learn to be better at challenges. You can learn to be better to decide what to do on fourth downs and different experiences, give and take, field position, time, all that other crap that goes into it. You can learn how to do all of that. You can't learn how to hire coaches. You got to know the coaches in order to hire them. Okay? So, I get that you don't like Flores. I ask you this, my friend. Who are you going to replace him with? There are no coaches out there that excite me. Okay, Dana, I'm not here to excite you, my brother. Okay? And you listen to the show enough to know I've given an example. And I said you hire a Jack Del Rio type. Okay? You have Reggie McKenzie in the front office, Dana. 4 years ago, all right, Reggie McKenzie and Jack Del Rio did not deserve to get fired at all, and they fired him. Those guys were doing a good job. They had an off year after a playoff run, and so they could have gotten back on track. The front office was doing fine. Jack Del Rio has a good staff overall. He's older. He has a Rolodex that's like the size of this studio. So you get a guy like that, a guy that's been around, that can delegate and can find real assistant coaches all over the place. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of guy that you get, a Jack Del Rio type. So whether you think it's sexy or not, you need to find somebody that can put a staff together. And one thing Flores has proven for 3 straight years, he doesn't know how to put a staff together, and he can't put an offensive staff. And that's not up for any discussion. That's not up for any disagreements. That's not up for any kind of arguments or anything like that. Those are the facts. Can't build a staff. I can be somewhat patient for him to learn other things. You can't learn how to put a staff together. You either know how to do it or you don't. You either have the connections or you don't. That's just the way it goes. Fire Jean-Pierre. He is making the O-line worse. Jackson wasn't this bad last year. Well, Pepe Le Pew, you want to have somebody that goes to the cash bar, baby. That's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what specific specialty the coach has. That's just a bonus. What we need is to stop hiring these first-time coaches and hire an experienced coach that will know what to do and coach. That's my point. It's the first-time coaches, man, you got to be lucky and hit on the right guy. And if you don't hit on the right guy, you're SOL, bro. Yeah, so I would rather go veterans. I agree. Big O Vinny won the Heisman the year the Canes played Penn State. And so, what does that mean? Charlie, are you old enough? Did you live it? I'm not sure. Are you just reading the history? Oh, wait a minute. He won the Heisman. What does that mean? That he put up great stats that year? Just ask any old Canes fan and just go, hey, is Vinny Testaverde clutch? Just ask him that. Just say. We know Vinny was a great talent. We know he had a great arm. We know all of that. Everybody knows about the infamous pass, at least if you're old enough, where he put a hand on the helmet of the Oklahoma player. Was it Bosworth? Or no, maybe it was, I don't think it was Bosworth. And he threw over him, and, physically it was just a compelling moment, because athletically, Vinny had it. Oh, you know how you all You size queens out there that, you want your 6'5" guy with a rocket arm and all that. I give you Vinny Testaverde. I'll take Tua every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Okay? I'll take Tua in the clutch. You can have Vinny Testaverde in the clutch. He won the Heisman. Charlie, if you're young, you have every excuse in the book, and you're forgiven, my brother. Okay? Hey, why don't you go check out the Cincinnati Bengals? They drafted a running back that won 2 Heismans. Check out his stats. Man, if you go bring it on this show here, if you go bring it on this show, know your shit, dude. Okay? Know your history, know the game. All right? And if you're young, again, you get every break in the book, Charlie, because you're young and you have no perspective. But if you're my age, Charlie, you got to learn the game, buddy. You got to learn the history of the game. Okay? What's the name of the guy from Alcorn State that Detroit drafted that won the Heisman? He won the Heisman too. What was his name? Not Alcorn State. That was that was this guy. Rest in peace. He was a badass. McNair. Not Alcorn State. It was. What's the guy that Detroit drafted? Come on, man. Somebody old, help me out here. Come on, Sean. You're not a young producer. What the hell's the name of this guy? He played in a small school. Rocket arm athlete. Andre Ware. Thank you, Andre Ware. Thank you. Barry Sanders. Andre Ware. He won the Heisman too, man. That doesn't mean anything whatsoever. God. Joey Harrington. Yeah, he did win the Heisman. You are correct. I forgot about that. It's a good one. No, but seriously, I mean, the Bengals drafted a running back that won the Heisman twice. And he sucked. He was one of the worst backs ever. And he won the Heisman twice. It's freaking amazing. Flo, no patience with offensive staff too, but he will be patient with changes scheme to pick up 7 losses. Remember, you got to fire him if they say Dieter's got to play center. That's, don't tell Flo that Dieter's got to play center. You'll get fired. Charlie says, I'm not disagreeing with you. The Canes were running the ball with Alonzo Heisman. I'm saying Jimmy fell in love with what Vinny did that year was a mistake. But my brother, doesn't matter what he did that year. You have to remember what he did in Tennessee in the Sugar Bowl the year before. In the biggest game of the year, Vinny Testaverde choked like a dog. And then you're playing Penn State. And after that first interception, you should have said, I'm not doing this anymore. Zoe, you're running the ball the whole time. And they would have won the game by 20 points. Because Penn State wasn't stopping the run. Penn State flooded the zone with their defenders, and that's what they wanted to do, confuse Vinny. And obviously, Vinny can be easily confused, especially in key moments. That's why he sucked up 9 interceptions in 2 years. Vinny Testaverde may be the all-time biggest choker in the history of the Miami Hurricanes. Okay? Let me explain that to you. All right? As talented as he is, as talented as he was, all right? Really nice guy, too, all that stuff. Nobody, I mean nobody, choked on a bigger one than Vinny Testaverde. Okay? Nobody. I mean, When you see choke in the dictionary, it's got to have Testaverde's picture right next to it. And when you look at stupidity, it's got to have Jimmy Johnson's face right next to it. Okay? Because anybody that would allow Vinny Testaverde to throw away a national championship, you got to be incredibly stupid. I'm a pretty young guy at that point in 1987, and I'm screaming at the television, why aren't you running Highsmith? And I think every Canes fan was screaming at the top of their lungs at that moment going, why aren't we running Highsmith? So, outside of Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson owns the second dumbest. And let me tell you, Jimmy Johnson's worse than Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll had a brain fart of a moment. Jimmy Johnson was incredibly stupid for 4 quarters. I mean, he was an effing moron for 4 quarters. Because you got to be one stupid sumbitch to watch one interception after another and do nothing about it when you had the answer by just handing it off to Highsmith. Yeah, I'll never get over that loss. Because the amount of stupidity and choke job that had to do with that loss was amazing. Because that's the one game, we could go look at the Ohio State one, but that was out of the control of the team. You can't control referees that are just a bunch of idiots and ruin a game, but you can control handing it off to Highsmith. That you can control. So, Big O, you should get Alonzo on the show and ask him what he thought about that Penn State game. Tony, I've already talked to him personally about that. And I have known Zoe for well over 20 years. I got nothing but love for the guy. I'm not going to put him in that position. I'll do it myself, right? I'll rip whoever I got to rip and be pissed off about that. We don't need Zoe to, what do you want me to do, to try to get it out of him and rip Jimmy? It's never going to happen. You know what I mean? So that's, let's not try to go somewhere. And plus, that's a friend of mine. I'm not going to do that. I'll take the heat. Okay? I'll take the heat. I'll criticize and I'll take the heat. I got no problem with that. I'm a big boy. Big O, do you recall the original ABC broadcast from Monday Night Football? Howard Cosell, Dandy Don Meredith, and Frank Gifford. Always, dude. Turn out the lights. The party's over. Yep, of course. There's nothing like that threesome. Or there's nothing like a threesome. Let's see. The 86 Canes, the best team in college football to not win a national championship. No argument there. Rosendo, for me, that's the best team ever for the Canes. Seriously. That's the best team I've ever seen. That 86 team that didn't win, best team. I know that 01 gets all the love, and you could talk about some of the other ones. The team that did not win the title that year in the Fiesta Bowl, that to me was the best Canes team I've ever seen. Just one man's opinion. You know what I mean? This is a debate that would never end, and everybody has, something to stand on at that moment, 01 or whatever year, you're 89 or whatever you want to pick. But for me, the 86 team is the greatest team ever. Again, that's just me. Big O, will you be broadcasting during Monday night game in 2 weeks? Yes. Yeah, we do the Monday night games. We will be at Sports Grill. So, yeah, we'll do 2 games. We'll do 2 shows that night. We'll do our morning show, and then we'll do the broadcast on Monday. Although maybe Tuesday, I don't know, Sean, do we sleep in a little bit more? Well, Sean's got to take his daughter in the morning, so he's screwed, right? You got to take your daughter in the morning, right? Yeah, I did that for 12 years, 13 years, no, 12 years, because my wife did it for the pre-kinder or whatever, the what is it, pre-K, pre-5, whatever it is, pre-kinder. I did it from 5K on. So yeah, I did that, and that's it. After 12th grade, I was free, and I was released. Yes, no more of that. So I got still waking up in the morning, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe we sleep in a little bit. I don't know that next day. So yes, we will be doing Monday night. We'll be at Sports Grove for the Final 4 games, man. Okay, no matter what. Bro, I watch Marino throw bombs every week. 0 Super Bowls. Yeah, that's right. That's because you need help. No matter if it's Marino, you need a defense and you need a running game, my brother. You got to help out even Marino. So it doesn't matter what quarterback it is. All right, I think we are done. I think we got a ton of things that we got off our chest. Oh, I need to air one more grievance. Okay, one more, and most of you won't care. But I do want to mention it because Inter Miami traded Lewis Morgan to the Red Bulls over the weekend. And Inter Miami, look, I don't work for them anymore, so I can be completely objective, all right? I love Jorge Mas. I think he's going to get it. I think he's going to figure it out. It's going to take him some time, okay? Unfortunately, Jorge hired the wrong people. They made a ton of terrible decisions. And like any new business owner, Jorge Mas has made a boatload of mistakes, okay? I've been around the man. He's a good dude. He means well. He cares about this town. He cares about this team. He wants it to succeed. Just like Wayne Huizenga and just like Stephen Ross. They mean well. Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu had to make a tough decision and get rid of Dale Talon and move on and tear off the scab, and they're much better for it. And they've been owning the team for a while, and they made their share of mistakes too, just like anybody and everybody, just like Sean and I putting this together every day. Sean and I are going to make mistakes along the way, and then we're going to try to learn from it. And I believe Jorge Mas will learn from it. But the trade of Lewis Morgan tells you one obvious thing. They don't got jack crap on that roster. Okay? They traded him to the Red Bulls. So what are you going to trade for? John McCarthy? What are you going to trade for? McCoon? Figal? LGP? An overpaid Matuidi? An overpaid Higuain? An overpaid Pizarro? I know they re-signed Victor Ulloa. What, Jay Chapman? Robbie Robinson? Soft as Charmin? Love Breck Shea, but they're not trading for him. My point is, they don't have anything on that team. It's a terrible roster. All right? And because of all the terrible moves that they made with the original general manager and the fines and the suspensions, they are in a terrible place. Now, the coach this past year didn't really use Lewis Morgan the way he was used in the prior season. So it's actually better for Lewis to move on, but it's also sad for Inter Miami fans, and it's also sad for the state of the team and where it's at. And unless they're able to unearth some young guys, and I know that they signed, what's the name? Jean Mota from Santos, the 28-year-old midfielder. Unless somehow or another they find people that can actually put the ball in the back of the net, which right now they don't have that kind of roster, and I don't know how they get rid of their DPs unless they want to just outright release them and take the cap hits. You know, we've heard about people may be interested in Pizarro and all that, but Matuidi and Higuain, their salaries, their age, the decisions were just downright stupid. Okay? But that trade yesterday just showed the pathetic state, unfortunately, that our soccer team is in, and they're not going to be very good for a few more years. So they might want to focus on the new stadium down over in Miami and get that done and, you know, buy time for now and get through another season. That stadium is not going to have a lot of people next year. They have ruined the opportunity to build momentum the first 2 years. They have killed that. And I'm sure that right now their season ticket sales are probably struggling in a big time way. And they're going to have a lot of people that probably aren't going to show up even if they bought season tickets next year. But that Lewis Morgan move showed you that they have. There's a scene in History of the World Part 1 from Mel Brooks where one of the guys is, I have nothing for sale. Nothing for sale. That's Inter Miami trying to trade. I have nothing for sale. I have nothing for sale. And one of the few good pieces that you have is Lewis Morgan, and you had to give him up. Sucks. But whatever. Who's the general manager of Inter? Now it's Chris Henderson from Seattle. And he's fantastic, but he inherited a mess, and it's not his fault. You know what I mean? So it's like Coach Neville. I can't blame him completely or anything because he kind of inherited all this. By next year, they'll tweak it enough that it'll be his roster, but still, it won't be his DPs are going to be really weak. So I don't know how much I can expect from the man. You know what I'm saying? But Chris Henderson, it's going to take him a few years to kind of fix this mess. They're better off trying to find young guys to develop in their minors to then bring up to the MLS over the next couple of years. That's the direction they've got to go. But that was a sad move over the weekend, and it showed you the pathetic state of Inter Miami football and how really it doesn't give you a lot of hope, if any, for next season, to be quite honest. They're going to be in the bottom of the standings once again. They're going to be a bad team. All right, we thank Sean Stanley, as always. Excellent work by him. He is always fantastic. We thank everybody out there that tuned in and supported us like you always do. Folks, don't forget, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. We thank Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun Sentinel for joining in. And we thank Omar Kelly, also from the Sun Sentinel. As always, we will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O